Yes, we're back, keeping the ball in the hand. What's happening, boys, alright? Three sexy bastards by you.
Tell you what, by the way.
Wait a minute till I finish licking my lips.
Mate, they're Terry, by the way.
They're
Terry, man.
A wee bit hot, eh?
No.
They look good on your chin, big man. Stuart Findlay, what's happening?
Alright, for
What was How are you, mate, alright?
Can't complain. Back in Scotland for a few weeks.
What about that American accent he was putting on before you came on here? Hey,
boy.
hey, dude,
Say well, innit?
I can't believe he bowled up on a skateboard.
What's his old bro?
What's the patter there? Have you been called a douchebag yet?
Honestly,
Be honest,
like,
man.
I'm kind of embarrassed that you don't mean it, but you sort of get like into their sort of way of speaking because it just makes it easier. Like,
oh no, I hate you, mate.
I was on the phone to my pals like the first time after about 2 months speaking to them, and I called one of them bro. Honestly, like the place was up there, nobody could handle it, but you need to, because see if you speak the way I speak normally.
No, understand
it's
the
a
word.
foreign language. It's like, oh, at least you're going to America, it's the same language. For 2 months I couldn't speak to anybody.
I know, but the boys must have been familiar with you after you played the Shermanator and American Pie.
That's the best shit he's had in a long time. Well done, Sam.
He said I could break him,
I'm refreshing.
He said I could break.
That's why he invited him on to get that joke on.
Yeah, he got married as well.
I know.
I've seen you in your talks, mate. Very handsome.
Best I've looked, eh? I
Wow.
went for a solid 5.5, I think. But
Take that, by the way. Take that. I'll be more than a 5.5,
I was
trust me.
disappointed you weren't wearing a kilt.
nah, that's
not gonna call
in
for a
America.
kilt.
I know,
We're back
that's
to
what he's
America with a
tongue.
kilt on. Oh, what's that
I
skirt
know.
you all wearing? It's just hassle, man.
What was the first dance? Was it Fields Half and Right, you said?
No. the stars and stripes at me.
Oh, mate, I wanted to ask you, do that. America's everything starts with a national anthem, isn't it?
Oh, but see,
Every
On
sport,
sports
aye.
and stuff.
No, but everything,
but
innit?
every game, line up national anthem before you start. If you play a team for Canada, it's about 20 minutes before the game. You need to do both national anthems, Canada and America. You're just standing there. You can't sing because it's not yours. You just stand there.
Well, you're not allowed to sing.
Well, you can, but
Do you know the words?
Oh,
I don't know. It's been a while.
what is it? What is it?
When you hear it 32 times a season.
Can you see by the dawn?
See, I feel bad I can't remember it now.
Don't know the rest.
But honestly, every game, if you play a Canadian team twice, it's just, they love it over there. So everybody's like, they love the country, like, oh, America, like, land up.
God bless.
Because I went to a baseball game and we were sitting and the national anthem came on, and there was people like nearly greeting, like fans.
They get
it's
the
not bad,
like,
they're the most patriotic country in the
That's
world.
like, say you had like a tammy on watching the game, if you don't take your hat off and like put it across your chest,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like, ejected at the stadium, so I think it's like proper into it, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Even they're ejected. I mean,
Ejected?
Get fucking
I know.
chucked out.
Tom Court sitting there, man. What about you, Stu? What you been up to New Year?
Sorry,
New Year, same old jacket, kid.
same old.
No getting new clothes for your Christmas now.
Nobody got me any new clothes for Christmas. Lynn got me two, right? She got me a tracksuit and a wee jumper, but she knew they wouldn't fit
A wee
me.
jumper.
A wee jumper, because it was a large. Not going to fit in a large. So she bought me them knowing that they would get sent back, so I fucking had to bring out the pretty green stuff.
Aye.
Due a new batch of that.
You were wearing it, but
Aye, it used to fit me.
I'll tell you what, talking about used to fit, 10 days off's not good for you, is it?
How was it, mate? The bag?
It was brilliant.
So it was you,
Could be a
Gillian,
reset.
was it a free child space, so you took Hugh Evans?
Hugh Evans came, aye. But I tell you what, it was a hassle, man. Running
in the
about
pool.
that kid's pool and it. He's got the rubber rings on. But it was brilliant. But I actually feel like Kev now. I feel as if I put a few pounds on Kev.
I weighed myself on the Monday. You know, you start on a Monday, a diet on a Monday. Looked at the weights in disgust.
These are healthy or not?
I put on a bit as well.
I'm up to about 18 stone.
Oof.
I mean, we need to ask him, but Philadelphia.
What a place, man.
Streets
Streets of
What's the
Philadelphia.
lifestyle like over there?
It's different gravy.
Is it no sun air there, mate, now?
Always sunny in
Where's the
Philadelphia.
fucking tan then? Been sitting in the house?
I've been back for 2 weeks, that's enough for me to get drained for it.
I was going to say, look at the white trainers with the white ankles, man.
To be honest, it's not the exact same, so that's a tan for me, that's the best I've looked.
Are you
Wow.
a natural ginger or are you a tinted ginger?
I don't dye it this colour, Kev, come on.
Just always
an auburn, innit?
the lights are helping you.
Right, come on, the lifestyle, tell us.
That's class, honestly. Like, I've seen that before, like, I might have not played that much the last year, but it's like, the life's just different gravy. Like, me and Megan went out, Megan didn't want to come, she was like the jet, she was clinging to the radiator, make sure she couldn't leave, and then once she's there, she's like, oh, whatever happens, you stay in America next year, because honestly, the lifestyle's just unbelievable.
Different level.
It's like,
Has she got a job in that?
she's not allowed to work because
you're earning a fortune.
Because we're married now, she might be, once I get the green card, she can
So
maybe
is that
get
the
a
reason
job.
she's married, just so she can get a job?
I think she can marry so she can get a green card, maybe.
He's done well though, I think he's put second in there.
This guy knows his MLS, good Andrew, I like it.
I'm no daft. We did our research here, Stuart.
Well, you asked me 2 minutes before we came on. Kev asked me from the second for first division.
It's obviously, Stuart, I'm just got to be honest, mate, I don't follow the MLS.
I've played mate at Philadelphia than you have, man. I played a game.
He's at me at Philadelphia.
You're fucking right, I
But what, mate, it's a lovely setting, isn't it? We played the pre-season. The grounds there, water right there, mate. Beautiful.
What part of America's Philadelphia in?
Like next to New York, just like 90 minutes from New York.
Is it really high?
90 minutes from Atlantic City as well. What a place that is.
Is that the gambling on it?
It's like the mini Vegas. Yeah,
That's Boardwalk Empire. That's
Boardwalk
Atlantic
Empire,
City,
what a
isn't
series that is.
Brilliant,
by the way.
mate.
I've watched that.
So why you not been playing?
Must not be good enough. No, but to be fair, the boy, as you say, we finished second in the league. I went there
Why the second line?
kind of injured, not really doing well at the start. The 2 boys that played were flying, to be fair to them. So when I got my chance, went in, played a few games in that, but they're not going to change a team that finishes second in the league.
No.
Like, we got to the way to the final of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean, I managed to play that game because of it. The only way I got a game, 12 boys pulled out with COVID. I managed to get drafted in at the end, but no, it's one of the ones I don't regret it because obviously I've not been able to play a lot, but the guys have been class. I honestly think playing it has made me better because people don't realise how good the standard is.
You're
out there.
saying
The
that,
standard has went right up, especially in the last few years as well.
Like
It's starting to attract a lot of younger.
They're getting away from that stereotype of like
Pele's still playing for 'em.
the New York Cosmos. That's I mean, like
Do they play out in that, Stuart, is it?
yeah, like every team will sort of say
That fucks
everybody
you then.
plays
That's
most
why
of
it's fucking you, innit? They're playing it for the back.
I know. I'm on the channel and didn't know what was going on. No, but like, every team spend all their money and getting like an amazing number 10, sort of build a team around him, you know what I mean, where it's like 3 at the back, but everyone's always got that like special number 10 sort of player, but that's sort of the way they play. No team, like there's a couple of teams that, like New York Red Bulls, they're a bit more like, get it up, play like Kilmarnock playing for them, that suits him, like they run the channels, like being like, he's actually done quite well for them out there, but
Right.
most teams want to get down and play. There's a lot of like South American managers and stuff out there now.
Right.
Like most of the leagues like predominantly South American, Spanish and stuff, but I mean, as you said, like, I've never known from my playing out for the back, but that's, I mean, I think it's improved me, like training that way and playing against these guys when I do get a chance. It's been good, man.
Because he's been linked to you boys, hasn't he?
Hearts, aye, that was last summer. I heard it was quite close, no?
No, well, that's what I mean. Like, I've got not a hard time, but some people are, you sort of just like pied Hearts off and went there. But it was the case was sort of, Hearts would have been a great option at that time, but I didn't know if I was going to get the opportunity to play something like that again. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets to go to America, not everybody gets to
What age are you, Stu?
life. I'm 26.
That's young, isn't it? So
But that's what I mean, like, as I said, like, America's not really, they're
Aye,
getting
it's
away
not like,
from
aye,
finishing it
aye.
there, you know what I mean? So it's like, a chance that comes ahead, it was a life-changing one for me and Megan to go out there. And I might not have played, but I don't regret it at all. It's the best thing I've done going out there. And then,
Would love to go out there.
I was going to ask you, Si, because obviously
Philadelphia
you're
finished
at the twilight of your career, obviously turning 30. What were you, 6 yesterday?
34, mate.
Fucking hell.
34?
34.
34.
Look great, that.
Wow.
Cutest
Unbelievable.
34-year-old in
Aye,
Scotland,
it's,
easy.
I definitely, the biggest forehead as well, but I would never. No, joking aside, it's not too late for you.
What, to go to America? You fucking
no,
goodness,
but I mean, like,
Who's he saying no?
but what I mean,
He'd get a food club America.
can you just wait till I finish?
Sorry, Kevin.
What I mean is like, to start your coaching career or stuff, or would you rather try and stick that here in Scotland, or?
I can't go Americans, mate.
Nah.
5 minutes, I'm alright, but they're cheesy bastards, aren't they?
I know, I
You'll never understand
Everything's
it,
awesome, mate.
see, to be honest, I'll back them up here, like, see when I went there,
Look at him sticking up for
know,
America, you're Scottish.
yeah, mate, all the American boys out there hate all the Americans that are on the telly and that, because they're like, that just
That's
makes
nuts.
us look fucking, I was like, no, but he's a wee bit like that, you know what I mean? But it helps our teams mostly
They're
European.
just so emotional though, aren't they? They're proper emotional.
I was like, the first day I was trying to give a boy a wee bit, and so I was like, no, you need to go easy. You can't say stuff like this. Like, in the
No, what,
locker
really?
room.
You can't give boys a bit now?
You can, like, the European boys love it. Like, there's a few Germans that they're like right up for it, but like,
They want you spank their arse into the gym.
Daniel Farke and that.
that's why I didn't get a game. I do know the line somewhere. No, but that's what I mean. Like, I tried to get like first. I was like, surely he gets a bit. Like, no, that's not nice. You can't like do that to guys.
Oh,
I'm
nah,
like,
it's not
come
me.
on.
The Scottish language is just sarcasm in it. That's
Yeah.
all we are. Everything's just sarcasm. They don't understand sarcasm.
Nah,
Matt Polster was the same when
Yeah.
he came to Rangers, and like the likes of like Jimmy Bell, see when he was on him for the get-go, he was like, oh, why the fuck this kid man hate me? He's like, it's just the way he is, mate. It's
Like,
relaxed.
we've got a boy like he graduated for like Harvard, like through the soccer system, like the college system came to us, and like he's a nice guy, but like I said, put him in like a Scottish change room for 5 minutes and he's leaving naked and going home, you know what I mean? Like there's no way he's going to survive there. But it's just a different way of life it there.
It just came to us, man. We had an American guy playing for Peterhead. I told us on the podcast right at the start. I've never told you this. So I sent him in with a guy called Kevin Jerzaski, right? So I had to hang at Peterhead when new players come. I had to come up, say their name, age, and their best sexual experience. He comes up, right? Kevin Jerzaski, 23, something like that. I'm actually a virgin, guys. So we're gone, mate, right? So we're like, right, well, when you're in Scotland, we'll try and get you home. And he's like, okay, right, buzzing. So anyway, same as you, mate. His first training session, you quickly found that you can't shout at this guy, man. He like loses his head. So we're playing Dunfermline, like third game of the season. And me and him are fucking going at each other. I'm like, Ken! He's like, don't talk to me like that, man. Have a bit of respect. So Jim takes me off, mate. I'm ready to crack, right? I'm sitting on the side. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with Kevin Jerzaski? And Jim McInally, sharp as fuck, was like, he needs to shoot his guff, pal.
do you ever get like issues where if you're in like a supermarket or you're trying to buy something and you use like a Scottish word and they can't understand it whatsoever? Any sort of British word?
Like stupid things, like we were at training and like I said to like one of the boys, do you want me to like, I'll give you a lift home? Like just being nice to that. What's that like? Like see if somebody who's American know what it is, that we know what they mean. Like see if you use a word that's no American, he's like, oh, do you mean like a ride? I'm like, mate, just, like I'm just giving you a lift home my motor, you know what I mean? Like, but then it's like, oh, like we're in a hotel, I'm pointing at the lift. Does that lift take us up? What's a lift? I'm like,
you can tell what it is.
I'm pointing at an elevator. I'm like, mate, come on, like, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean?
Imagine walking into a supermarket in America and asking for a loaf of bread.
Well,
mate, you'd be
you know what, Stuart, we're professionals here, so that question I just led to you led it into the story I'm about to tell, because that's what it is, Simon.
That's it, mate. I love how you said that.
Arfield used to tell me where
this guy's not done the hydro twice for no reason, young
exactly,
man.
Mate. He used to go on the Canada trips, right, and every time he would come back with an unbelievable story. I just thought how cheesy the boys are, how emotional if he goes somewhere they don't understand something. So he said so random, but one night he said his ears were just causing him so much bother. He just hadn't popped for the plane, kept that sugar on him, he had earache the full night. So he said he's went to this wee local supermarket. He's trying to just get like some cotton buds to just whack out the earwax or whatever's in there. So he's went in. So the one behind the desk, have you any cotton buds? And the woman's like, cotton buds?
Yeah.
He's doing all this. He's like, cotton buds? He's like, cotton buds? So she's like calling him one of the asking and she was like, have you had a cotton buds? He said they're both laughing like, cotton buds? What's cotton buds? He's got his phone out, right, got a picture of a cotton bud on Google, they were like, Q-tips. Just looked at each other like Q-tips.
It's not funny,
like, see when you
man.
ask for a pint, what? Like, I can't get a pint of beer. What's that, like, if you don't know what a pint is, just get me a beer, you know what I mean? Like,
You've said beer, it's obvious what you're wanting.
Do you know what a pint is? I'm like, mate, come on, just give me what I need, you know what I mean?
They just ask for like a beer, right? Just a beer.
Yeah, it's mostly like bottle of beer into America.
That's another thing, mate. The odd kid on there, mate, sitting drinking bottles of Bud Light. A bottle of piss, beat it. I know.
So I was in there one time, right, and then I tried to find anything, like, at the start, you know, you try and get any conversation started, so I had a brainwave, I was like, oh, do you know they drink like Mad Dog? That's fair America, isn't it? And then he's like, yeah.
They've got that over. That's fair.
It's American.
It's made in America.
I went into the shop, like, there's like, I went into the supermarket, tried to get like some normal drink. You can't only get beer, you need to go to the liquor store, right? So again, like when I say, like spirits, what spirits? It's liquor, you mean? I'm like, anyway. So I found the Mad Dog. I'm going to talk about that. I was like, oh, you ever drink that? He's like, yeah, I've got a bottle in the house. Like, I use it, like, but they have like a glass of it, like, for like a special occasion, like a wee glass of Mad Dog and put it back in like the cupboard for like a couple of months. You know?
That's disgusting, isn't it?
I didn't tan the bottle.
No, it's like, I said to him, I was like, if go in Glasgow, boys would like, have a bottle of that.
Get yourself back on board, mate.
That would send you loopy, man.
Mad America.
Chugging a Fanta orange there,
Mate, another open goal favourite's been in America. GMS went to Disneyland with the Thursday Boys, didn't he?
He's a hero over there, by the way.
Him and Mickey Mouse felt his arse. Me and him. Took a scodgy. Guys took a scodgy on Mickey Mouse.
He was the opposite when they were too serious for him.
Where did he go?
Constantly on me, man.
Where did Mackay Stevens go? Oh, he was in there, wasn't he?
New York, wasn't he?
New
He was
York.
New York.
Imagine him out there.
Oh, mate, honestly.
It's a waste, innit? It's a waste.
Got an exclusive, he's going to come on, isn't he?
Listen, sorry, I don't know if we can drop the big. It's a big plan we've got in it, but he's not happy with us. Honestly, I think he's trying to bring down the Thursday Boys To get the Thursday
on the
boys on the
podcast.
podcast for 1 week.
Bare ass boxing.
Could end up being a scrap, couldn't it?
Right, before we go on to football as well, we also need to say he did play with Slaney. Slaney's gave you a bit on you as well.
I know.
What was it he said about you again?
Honestly, I went through a stage about 2 months that I was only known as Chris Tarrant because Slaney was convinced on an away trip with the Scuddies that I brought out Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and demanded to be the quizmaster.
And is it a load of shite?
Never had this game in my life, but you know, if he wants to stick to that story, fair play.
What was he like when, was it Morton he was on trial with you?
It's no, so I played with him at Celtic, right?
Right.
And like he tells the stories about him and Andre Blackman, right? And he says, "Oh, this guy hated me," but at the start he actually liked him. But the thing with Andre Blackman was, if you say enough stuff to him, you're gonna annoy him at some point. Slaney just every day, more and more, as if he wanted a reaction out of him, you know what I mean? And then when he go to it, he shat himself.
So were you there when Andre Blackman offered him a square go?
I was there, it was terrifying.
Did he shite himself?
But it was like a week before that, we were best of pals. Slaney's saying to him, like, I'm the fastest guy ever to play football in Scotland, right? And Andre Blackman's like, nah, bruv, I've got you in a race, bruv, right? So Slaney's like, he's got the full Lennox saying that you've got the dinner ladies like holding ticker tape across to start this race. Like, I think he's in the reserves, you've got like first team watching all that. He's like, a race, like, so if you come into the Lennox in the big long road,
Big long run.
race there, whoever gets to the end first, £100 to the winner, right? So the race about to start, Slaney's winking at everybody. So Andre Blackman just goes. Slaney gets at one step, just starts stretching his hammy off. He's like, big man, not a day. Andre Blackman's like, you tried to mug me off, fam, and all that.
Is that how it started?
Slaney's like, no, my hammy's gone. Next day he went in the chair, didn't want to train in the physio. He was like, you need to keep out for a couple of days.
They miss him, didn't he?
Oh, he'll be
Miss
back
the boy.
next week.
Aye, he'll be back next week.
We went to Morton. Slaney's that first day, Slaney's like to me, didn't work out at Celtic, but I need to start a new, fresh slate. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go in here, just go about my business. First day at lunch, there's an English boy we've got, he's picked him out, he's like, Scotland are the superior British nation for sport.
Mate, he
And
says that to every
and
English person
the
he gets.
guy's just like, what are you talking about? He's like,
On trial.
name a sport.
Pitching at a brand new player.
He's like, first day, name any sport in the world. Guy's like, football. Sir Alex, next. The guy's like, no, let me, next.
He did that in the podcast, didn't he?
He's like,
Does it every English person he meets, mate? He's not
like,
right, eh?
Matter, snooker, Higgins, next. The guy's like, a Sullivan, nonsense. I'm like, he lasted about a week there, so no for him.
Right, big news as well for Kevin Kyle. Fake taxis expanding, innit?
How's that, Si? What's happened?
Daniel Farke is going to do fake bus driver, Gary Holt's left Falkirk.
You're joking me.
I tell you what.
Don't know how that ginger arse is going to
Is
look
the
on
Holt
camera.
leaving Falkirk?
Holt's left.
He's left?
You know, look at him playing stupid. Farke no told you about his new idea with fake bus driver.
He gave me a wee run.
You know
by
Kev
it.
does fake taxi,
I've done fake taxi a couple of times. So obviously, if you were at the Hydro before Christmas, you would have saw some live pictures.
Have you seen the pictures now?
Are they pictures? They pictures in the surface, did they?
I've still got them on my phone, mate.
I know, but I was expecting them to be published over New Year and Christmas. Thankfully, they'll probably be kept for a later
There's
date.
still time, aye.
There's still time.
Still
They will go out.
Oh, on that note, I've only traded in the next boxers for fucking new Calvin Klein.
That was my next question. Who
No
won the
way.
boxers for the Christmas? My
Mate.
mum got me diesel pants.
10 packets she got me, 10 pairs. Next pants, Calvin Klein.
Let's see them, man.
I don't actually
get the
know.
next one.
I think I've actually got an extra one, let me see.
You did?
Mate, they things are stinging out.
Fucking day. A day. Unbelievable. No, but that's because...
Why have you not got the Calvins on?
Because the Calvins...
That's the smell.
No, the Calvins are special occasions, Simon.
Cheeky's
What,
the big
first-
one at Christmas, isn't
First
he?
podcast back to special
I'm not going to
occasion.
get my fucking arse out the day.
Yeah, that's
I know, but you're
brilliant,
sitting there
man.
with...
Aye, but remember, I'm starting work early at 7 in the morning, so it's dark, so when I open up the pants
so then your
door,
driving pants.
I did my driving pants. Don't want to get the Calvins sweaty. But I keep a wee spare Calvin Kleins in the boot just in case I pick up something. Picked up a few things over Christmas, by the way. A few people telling me stories, honestly.
What, like?
Aye, it's amazing. So I think I'm going to need today. Fake taxi podcast. And just undercover podcast. Start like telling all the stories I get in my taxi.
What, like horse and story?
Oh, mate, honestly.
Is that?
And see some of the people that I've picked up that know somebody through somebody, and then you hear stories.
I don't know if why you keep staring at me, so I'm getting paranoid.
Oh no,
now.
I'm only staring at you, Simon, because you're the host. Now, it's always all about eye contact, but your name's been mentioned a few times.
Right, come on.
Move on.
Oh, good, it's all good, it's all good.
Oh, is it right?
Aye,
So there was a good ride?
No, I know the taxi you on me.
Oh, right, okay. Right, football's back, boys, Monday.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Delighted to have it
Glad
back,
though.
innit? Fans
Aye.
are back. No, devastated.
Nah, it's good
No,
to be
it's going.
back.
I
It's good
can't
to be
wait.
back.
Monday night, Celtic v Hibs. What a game to start back.
First game back, It's actually going to be a big one as well, because you've got to say Hibs look decent now under Sean Maloney. It's been a good start for them. You've got to fancy though Celtic to have a strong 6 months. I think everyone said since the start of the season they needed, Ange Postecoglou needed a couple of windows, and they've already, what was they saying, 4 players already? For the
couple of windows and a boiler in it, so if you can get in touch with
Mario.
I tell you what, on Celtic, I genuinely think, and this might be a bit harsh, a bit strong, Celtic need to, they can't have any more slip-ups now. They're 6 points behind. They've got to start winning like consecutively every single week now, because I think Rangers under Steven Gerrard were struggling a wee bit. Giovanni's come in, took them again. They look confident to be winning every week. Celtic's now in that home straight where if they want to win this league, I don't think they can afford many slip-ups, because I can't see Rangers doing it. And I think a game against Hibs under Sean Maloney, we played 2-3 games, they've won them all. It's a good game to have, because it puts an opportunity to set a marker down.
Yeah.
I think with the new signings coming in, we don't know what they're going to like, how they're going to adapt to Scottish football. Hopefully they all work out. But looking forward to, just glad that the fans are back, because we can. So
it was the winter break, was that the right thing to do?
It was the right thing to bring it forward, I think, because it had to be, because I know that the Old Firm game was right in the middle of it, but you don't want an Old Firm with no fans in it. I don't care what anybody says. It's rubbish.
The season obviously we had to do the closed doors. Like, everyone's just buzzing to get back to football, but you know yourself, after about 2 or 3 weeks, the novelty wore off. Like, it's not the same. Like, we played at Aberdeen. The first game they were allowed, like, I think it's like 300 fans. And it sounds like nothing, but see, just hearing like going up the park and people like getting excited again. It's like
a cheer in.
I know.
Yeah. That's the only thing. 300.
What you doing, Niebuhr?
300 Aberdeen fans, you can hear every single one.
I know.
I mean, I think there was a lot of pros and cons for both of them, but I think the main pro of anything was if you're returning back to football in its full capacity stadiums, that's all that matters. Because I've said it 100 times on the show. Playing in games where there's no fans. We played St Mirren just before the break, because first things first, when we thought that winter break was coming forward, my first thought was brilliant. Boxing Day off, you get a wee fucking drink on Christmas Day for the first time ever. But then you go into that Boxing Day game with no fans after lockdown last year, and it's terrible, man.
I even watched Bayern Munich got beat from Mönchengladbach the weekend. It was a pure fake game of football.
2-1. Isn't it? You can't get up for a game the same way with no fans. It just, no matter how big a game, it just doesn't feel the same.
Just the tempo overall with the game is just doing 15% straight away without any fans.
It's like trying to play that reserve game on a Tuesday afternoon somewhere, and there's no fans in, when you're trying to play well to get yourself out the first team, and you can't get yourself motivated for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it makes sense that they brought the break forward, but it was only going to work if she allowed the fans back in, which she has done. So it's probably due to the fact that rugby's about to start.
Aye, it's not a bad point. What, did you watch Tomo? Brilliant, wasn't he? Tomo was
brilliant, very good.
Back to where it began as well.
Telling you now that boy will go to the top, won't he?
Aye.
He does. Obviously, I was working quite closely with him. Obviously, played with him as well, but working quite closely with him when he was doing the 18s at Rangers. And mate, the boys loved him. That's the main thing, because you know when you've got younger players around 16, 17. We were 16, 17, you've all got your attitude, you've got your ego.
Aye.
If coaches are trying to discipline you and tell you what's right, what's wrong, sometimes you can't take it. But he was such a good people person with all the age groups, and
on the podcast, he's easy to listen to. You know what I mean? Like you want to hear him speak. So even if it is like he's telling you something, you actually want to listen. Like some people, you hear him talk off, you switch off. But he's like, he gets
names. Who makes you want to switch off?
Too many names to mention.
Russell Anderson, he said.
That's my first time. I can't even.
There's only one thing that's going to stop him for that, I think, is why you could end up managing the juniors. Calling football footy.
Aye, footy, I know.
Slaney default. I says, by the way, Tom was brilliant, but he calls football footy, and Slaney's like, nah, I'm not having it. I'm going to pull him up to shit yourself. Said he was going to pull him up, never said a word.
The biggest shocker is he turned them down.
I know.
Mate, what was
he turned them down? What are you thinking?
The thing with Tom was, I think that he's had an unbelievable football career as well, and was a very good footballer. And in the way he played football, he was always a winner. Like when Rangers weren't playing as well, he would be the one still throwing in tackles and stuff. And I think when he's now become a coach, I think he commands respect and he gets it. And I think as a coach, if you can get the respect of your players, it's a big help in trying to be successful, because if you can't command respect, you're up against it straight away. But no, I wish him good luck. And like a lot of the listeners have done, it's been an easy listening to him. If somebody will get back on it, he'll get back on, because it'd be good to get an insight into how he does other things and how his career progresses.
Yeah. Big transfer news, Nathan Patterson's about Everton. great bit of business for Rangers for me. You've got a guy there who doesn't even get a game.
I know.
It's a no-brainer. I think first things first, we know how good a player he is. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever. But
You think he'll go to the top, Andy? Do you think he'll go down there, do well?
listen, it's all about if he continues to progress and develop the way he is just now. Because any time he's played, whether it's been Rangers or Scotland, he's not let anyone down. But if you're getting a club record fee for a boy that's made 4 league starts, it's a no-brainer.
I think
Let's
he's
be
going there
honest.
as a first choice right back, or what?
Well, Seamus Coleman's 34, I read.
Yeah.
Is that right? 34?
Watches the
So
show,
even
so
if
watch
it's
what you're
not-
saying about him as well. Great guy, Seamus.
The thing is as well, with all due respect, he's not really going to oust James Tavernier at the team for the next 2 years anyway,
I
is
totally
he?
agree.
Right.
No.
So it's as Rangers starting 11 getting weaker? No. Is their squad getting weaker? Aye, because they've lost probably the hottest prospect, but they've got, what was it, 12, 14 million at the prospect? So I think it's a win-win for all parties.
In an ideal world, you'd love to see your young players that come through the ranks and get into the first team and play maybe 100, 200 games, then sell them on. But like you say, Simon, he's played, 27 games or something all in for Rangers. To get potentially up to 16 million quid for him, if that's what the figures are, once whatever add-ons and stuff, I'm not really sure. That's an incredible bit of business. And like Andy said at the beginning, first and foremost, playing for Scotland, he's by far the best right back we have. He's been brilliant for Scotland, a breath of fresh air. I just wish that he goes down there and he continues to develop and breaks into the Everton first team, because Seamus Coleman can't be there forever.
No.
And he's going to get an opportunity at some point. I see he was on the bench at the weekend there, he never got on, but good luck to him. It's always great to see Scottish boys going down to England and do well, and him, I wish no different.
Yeah, I say like, there's not one part of that transfer that MD's like not profiting out of it. Rangers are getting that money.
Yeah.
Everton Premiership, that money, you can afford to do that for a young boy.
Yeah.
Plus for him, he's going to a Premiership club. I probably got a better chance of starting there than he has for Rangers, you know what I mean? So I don't see any sort of, nobody's lost out of this deal, you know what I mean?
He's a
John
good-
Joe Kenny played the last game, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did he?
cup game.
He played the cup game, didn't
That's
he?
what I mean, like,
Was that John Joe Kenny that was at Celtic on loan?
Yeah.
Aye.
Right, he was doing his best.
But then again, you've got to
Telford.
remember that Nathan Barton's only been down there maybe a week to 10 days.
exactly, like,
So, and like you say, he isn't playing every week, so you don't know where his match level fitness is to start a game. So say that cup game comes next week, maybe Nathan Patterson gets a start.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at that. But for me, it's a great move for him. I just hope that Everton pick up. Because they're shite now. That's no be.
Is Rafa, do you think Rafa's a bit of a dinosaur now?
I don't know, he's a dinosaur. Maybe he just hasn't got. Maybe I don't know. He's not a
Spanish Steve
dinosaur
Bruce, now,
because
isn't he?
they've had
Turned
that-
into the
they-
Spanish Steve Bruce, man.
Stevie G says he's one of the best tactically he's ever worked with.
They've
That
had
was,
a
that was like
shocker.
15 years ago, so wasn't it?
Oh,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
how does that?
And what competitions you got? Phil Thompson, you know, who was Liverpool's manager under
Roy
Steven
Evans.
Gerrard? I wouldn't say there's been many, was it? But what I will say, they've had a shocker with the injuries at Everton.
Right.
They-
For the COVIDs and that as well, yeah.
Calvert-Lewin's been out the full season, hasn't he?
when I can give the shout that I've played under Rafa, I can give a wee bit about Rafa.
Yes!
There you go,
Stuart!
then.
He's dropped
Come
it in.
on,
Didn't you want to
that's
engage a bit about him?
You should know this before coming here.
I know, man. But we've only
There's a
got...
couple of hydros you're not interested
Mate, it was an hour before the show that we got you
I'm a
on.
last minute replacement.
Right,
I
come on,
can't
right, so
understand
10 days off, mate. Rusty.
Here's a wee bit about him.
that.
You said he was a shit- you used to know about-
He took me for one game, but
But you said he was a terrible kisser.
that's weird. I think that's why I didn't play. Maybe I was a bad kisser. He just wasn't happy with it.
No, come on, what about in terms of tactically wise? How was he on the
He's
training ground?
very. I said that a lot. He's kind of similar to the way that Steve Clarke is, but he's a defensive manager. So I don't know if Everton, obviously under Moyes, he might have been a bit like, but I don't know if they tried to change it last few
Yeah.
years. But he is a defensive. Like I think at Newcastle he had to be, because obviously he didn't have a good squad at Newcastle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was actually good. Like I thought he'd kind of similar to the way Steve Clarke is, the way that he does his training. Like everything's very based on like tactics. So he wants to get into shape, wants to do that. There's not a lot of like freedom in his training, but that's not a
Right.
bad thing.
Good for you,
teams
that,
do
uh-huh.
that. Exactly, that's why I liked
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
because that's the way that I play. But no, but, like you can tell what I was surprised at. Before I went down there, I was with Celtic with like Ronnie Dyler, right, and I was that bag of dragons in training, because any mistake I made, he was on me, right, straight away.
Who dealing with?
I like.
What do you know? I didn't think you'd
To
do
be fair,
that.
I think he just thought I was shite, so he was on me, right?
Right.
But then when I
Put yourself
left,
down there, Stu. Put yourself back up a bit.
no, he thought I was shite.
I know.
Came
He's
up.
brilliant, uh-huh.
But then I went to down there, managed to start training with the first team before that FA Cup game, and like, I don't know if he's seen that as a bag of dragons, but he spoke to me. He's actual like calms you right down. It's very easy to like train with him, but as he said, that might not be like, for example, Steve Clarke. It works with Kelly. It was working really well with Scotland, because that's the sort of team that suits his tactics,
Steve
and
Clarke,
it's working brilliant. Whereas maybe Everton,
Because they had Martinez in that after
Exactly.
Moyes, didn't they, who were a bit more free
they
flowing.
maybe went for like the name instead of like the way that they want to play, because they went for the boy that was at Watford as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
That's a bit
Silva.
of trying to play as well. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's going to take a bit of time. Don't know if you don't get time in that league anymore, but maybe that's the issue for him. You know what I mean?
He might be a good manager for like Nathan Patterson as well, because for as
Probably,
good as
does he
Nathan
need to
Patterson
improve
is,
maybe defensively, Andy?
aye, but well, listen, he's young. He's young. He's coming up. I think he's just turned 20, so but he probably needs to improve a lot of aspects. But he's so strong going forward. He's so athletic. Maybe one area where he doesn't really get tested as much as Rangers is defensively. Playing the Premier League, he's going to get tested every week, but. I do think he'll be a success because he first and foremost he's a proper good kid, like really
Looks
good
like
boy.
his game is
Definitely. So I think he'll do well.
I'm not going to say it's the same, but it's like when Andy Robertson first went down, he was all about attacking at Dundee United, and he might have had a tough first year with Hull, but then he learns playing every week for Hull, and then before you know it, he's done what he's obviously done. You know what I mean? So I think it could be good for him.
You know, if he's manager at Hull, Steve.
If he can't get in there and make a career for himself at Everton, it's in his hands. It's up to him, and it's how much he wants it. And I think. Just seeing him play, like, you think he's not playing for Rangers week in, week out and rocks up against Denmark and arguably one of the better players and the performers on that night on that right-hand side. I mean, if you're able to do that just randomly on a Wednesday night after not playing for every weekend, once he gets playing week in, week out, you'll see a massive improvement. I think his destiny's in his own hands.
Have a few quid as well now, isn't he? So a tenner, young man. Do they need to sign a right back now, Rangers? Or Balogun's done quite well when he shifted to a right back, isn't he?
I think if you've got somebody that's going to do a job for you, it's not as if you're going to need somebody to challenge Tavernier because he's the captain. He's not had a challenge before. Patterson, he was brilliant. He had a challenge, he was just as good. I think as long as you've got somebody that can do that job, I don't say it's...
He's never really injured, Tavernier, is he?
No, but I don't know if I'd want Balogun being the backup going forward because I think he is a natural. I'm going to give a name. Cameron Ramsey, Aberdeen.
But do you think it's...
Selling it for that, I think you can get him. So do I like it.
Do you think it's obviously a sign for Rangers and you're going to play some games because of that many, but do you think a lot of people... You're going as backup. You're not going to challenge. You're at no point are you challenging. You're going to sit behind this guy and wait for him to get injured. Do you know what I mean?
Nathan Patterson couldn't break in ahead of Tavernier, signing a young guy like the Ramsey boy, that would be maybe possibly a waste of 2 years of his career.
He might be better.
But
ultimately, if I was Rangers in terms of business wise, I'm thinking it's a great business move because if we can get that kid in and he just get an opportunity and progresses, they could then sell him on again for more money and make a right few quid at him. But again, it's
football
a difficult
changes so quick as well. You never know if a player like that does go and James Tavernier Touchwood could break his leg tomorrow and he's out for 6 months.
Exactly. Tavernier's never really injured, and like you say, it could happen at any time. And if he was to come out of the team, you are losing a lot going forward. And like I say, Andy said, Balogun being the backup right back, you're not getting as much going forward. So it's a difficult one to say. Do you spend a right few quid in getting a backup for maybe something that you might not need?
Yeah. But do you need to be? I don't think you need to be as attacking in this Rangers lineup the way they play. So it might suit Balogun a wee bit better to play right back.
I know,
in that shape.
Listen, it's backup's backup. But if you've got Balogun in for no disrespect, at home, Ross County at home games, you're expected to win, fair enough. But if you've got to Parkhead, Tavernier's injured, suspended. I know he done really well in the game at Ibrox right back, but listen, there was no doubt that every Rangers fan when they seen Balogun was right back before that game.
That's we're going to have.
Do you think that's a game that like almost suit him more though? Like a game he is going to have to defend. If you put him in, as he no disrespect to the lesser teams, but a game when you're switching it to the right hand side, maybe you want somebody else out there, but maybe that's the sort of games like.
I think it's as well though.
That's why I think you would get by with him because in their games he'll do a job, but if he's get called upon in a big game, he's shown that he can defend at the hardest game he can get is an Old Firm game. You know
modern day football though, innit? Like
exactly.
You want an output where full backs going forward.
Exactly.
So. Yeah. Another player, Eaton, has been recalled after a lot of game time at Germany. Can't see him having much of a Rangers career now, can you?
I don't see him getting in the side, especially with we're talking about. Kev mentioned about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst coming in and getting an extra gear at a lot of players. Probably no more so than Alfredo Morelos. I think he's been back to his best over the last few weeks. Just one player of the month. So with him, you've got Roof and likes of Hadji and Aribo and Kent in the front three. So I don't see him forcing his way back into the plans. It might just be a case of recalling him and send him something.
Still be good to have another option.
In terms of if you want to go a wee bit longer, Kevin, maybe direct.
Aye, because you can. You're into the home straight of the business end of the season. So to have as many bodies available to your squad, it's ideal. I think Morelos, by all accounts, some of the pictures that I've seen him, he's been working hard over the festive break. So who knows what kind of animal we're going to get. He's obviously picked up scoring a few more goals in December, like he win Player of the Month, but we might see a different animal him in January.
Take a wee bit of inspiration for it now.
Absolutely. If he's if his shorts on the tune his arse, then I'll get my finger out and stop my next boxer's tune my arse.
Tell you what, don't send Morelos to Bucks back.
No, I can't believe I'm sitting here not even touching
I know,
this.
this has
See
got
that, by
cold,
the
I know.
way? That salt and pepper chicken. That is melting your mouth off.
Steve, I was going to ask you, when you were up here, obviously you had a great season, but who was difficult opponents to play against in terms of strikers?
Like the obvious two, it was always Morelos and Edward. You know what I mean? Like they're so different though. Like, everybody always asked me who's the better one, and I always said if I had to pick one, I thought Edward was the hardest player to play against, because when he got turned and ran at you, it was game over. But Morelos, it's like he does this thing, like he lets you think that you're going to win the ball, so he'll back in and he'll let you sort of half step in front, and then he just untucks his shorts for tuning his arse, sticks it at you, and he's turned you. You know what I mean, like you don't even know where he's put. For Morelos, is the sort of guy, he'll do nothing like for 80 minutes against you. He'll look no interest, and then he just, before you know it, you think you can win when you've got confidence against him. He's turned and he's in and goal. You know what I mean? Like he's brilliant.
But is he not a pest when you've got the ball, Morelos?
I mean, he can be. You know what I mean? But like when I played with Kelly, there's very, very few times that we had the ball at the back. We shelled it, and then we played off seconds. You know what I mean? Like you might have played about 2 or 3 passes in a game when you played against Rangers or that. You know what I mean? But it's more about defending. But the two of them were like miles ahead of anybody else in the league. But like I always said, Edward was good, but it doesn't mean like Morelos was anywhere.
Edward's done well, to be fair, since he's been doing
it. Shows what happened to you on a bit, mate.
I know, some gone.
He probably knows what he needs to do now, you know what I mean? Like he knew up here he was better than everybody, you know what I mean? Like he could do what because he's running on a bit, still scored 20
still
goals.
Just run a bit?
I know, that's true.
You're right. When things were going well for him at Celtic, it was easy. And then the minute he had to roll up his sleeves, he was found wanting.
He's doing well.
But he's doing well now, and you've got to give him credit for that.
Right, Rangers got a Pittodrie.
Wow.
It's not as easy as it was maybe at the start of the season, because Aberdeen look like they've got themselves together, don't
Who
they?
called it?
You did, mate. You said they were good when you played though.
The boy, is it the boy in Marimira? He started scoring a few more goals recently, and that's what they were struggling
His
with.
pal, American.
I say aye. But
His fellow American.
tough game, but see as Celtic's got the home game against Hibs and Rangers have got the away game to Pittodrie, I think as your first game back, I think that's the type of games you want. Something to break you in so that you're ready, because is it not like a week later or 10 days later the Old Firm game or something, or is that a wee bit longer than that, whatever it is. So you want to get up to speed as quickly as you possibly can, and I think like Rangers have always done well going away to Pittodrie. It's a great fixture, Rangers Aberdeen, and I would honestly say it'll be a tough game, but I still see Rangers winning the game comfortably.
Do you know, see the thing is as well with Aberdeen, right, and I've said it to you, I thought they were in a false position at the start of the year. I think they're a lot better than what results at the start of the season suggest, but every window we're talking about them losing a key player, and I just think Hedges is massive for them.
I know.
Is he going to Blackburn now, or is it for the summer?
Well, there's that much rumours, and now you don't see him lasting past the January transfer window, do you? So.
No.
How did they play, Andy, this year? Because obviously under McInnes.
They do play. But that's the thing, like I mentioned, every team we played against, outside Rangers and Celtic, I still think they're the best side we've played outside them. And both games at Tynecastle, it was nip and tuck. Both teams tried to play. It was a good game, one each. And then up in Pittodrie, obviously, game of 2 halves, we were a better team first half, they were second half. But I think the big thing was they never had anyone that was scoring them goals. And then the boy Ramirez has started to score goals, but then they got Hedges back. He's been a big... He's the main creative player.
Hedges is a good footballer.
He is very good.
Intelligent, very intelligent. Receives the ball well, moves it well. But no, it's. I'm looking forward to it. It's just good to be able to talk about it, because it was a lonely 3 weeks there without speaking to these boys. Honestly.
See, when you were at Rangers, Andy, what was the feeling when you were going to play Aberdeen up at Pittodrie? Did you know you were going to be in for a tough game?
Mate, I genuinely think at the Old Firm, every away game's a tough game.
Is that right?
I really do.
So
I just don't
St.
think...
would be just as tough as an Aberdeen away?
Listen, there's levels of toughness.
But I mean, in terms of atmosphere and...
You know that Aberdeen and Easter Road and Tynecastle, the three, it's probably the most hostile, it's the most that... Depending on obviously where they are in terms of form at the time, but they're always the three that are sort of up there competing with the top two. But there's no easy game, because it's a cup final for your Kilmarnock team more than anyone. You probably took more points off of the Old Firm at Rugby Park than anyone. So it was a case of, you knew everywhere you were going to go, it was going to be a tough game. Look at Celtic's record against Livy over the last 3 years. Celtic can't beat Livy.
How did you do that, Stuart? How did you take so many points off them?
I think, like for example, one team we couldn't beat were Aberdeen under McInnes, but the thing is, because Steve Clark was that organised, if you play against a team that are going to shell it, organisation sort of goes out the window, it just becomes a fight, you know what I mean? And maybe
50-50 game.
Aberdeen were the kings at that under McInnes. Like, we finished third that one season, but Aberdeen were always a team miles ahead of the rest, because how they played, they had the players, they had like Adam Rooney at the time, they had like players that worked playing that way. When we played Celtic and Rangers, we were that organised. Celtic and Rangers were like,
Struggle to break it down.
they were almost like too proud to try and just lump it. They always tried to, we'll break them down eventually, but we were very good at what we'd done under Steve Clarke. I mean, he's shown it now. Like, he can do it against the top nations in the world. He could do it against Celtic and Rangers with Kilmarnock. I mean, I think that's how we done it, because it wasn't even there. Like, we'd go to Ibrox. Like, we had an unbelievable record at Ibrox under Steve Clarke. I think Rangers only beat us once or twice at Ibrox. Celtic Park seemed to be a bit different. They always like sort of got a result, but we got a few draws at Parkhead as well. Just I think it's the way we set up.
Steve Clarke, what is he off the ball? Does he talk about distances?
It's like, see, everything Steve Clarke does in training, it's like everything's 11v11, but so he'll do like a game that's like possession, but it's like wee goals either side, and you're doing 11v11 in shape, but you're just playing a possession
So you're in
game.
your position in training.
You don't realise, it's not as if it's like shape before a game, it's like everybody walks through it. Just all week you're doing in that shape, so like you don't realise you're doing it. By the time it gets to a game, you're sort of in like
natural.
cruise control, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's, I mean, Celtic and Rangers think we'll break them down eventually. The only way Celtic and Rangers scored against us, if obviously they've got better players, if they got a better 1v1 battle at some point. But when it actually came down to shape, we very rarely got broken down off the two big
Did
ones.
he ever cross it in with the Balenciagas on there?
That's what, the first time I had a meeting with me, he's like asking stupid, like, just say to me like, oh, no, seriously, the first thing he said is like, oh, house, where do you live? Or who do you live with? I live with my girlfriend. He's like, what car do you drive? Or like, I was buzzing at the time, I had that wee shite car, I was like, buzzing to tell him, I was like, no, not a shite car, I had my day one at the time, but I was like, what other boys are saying, oh, Range Rover, like, shiting herself, because he wanted to know
If you were like humble.
what you're
about
like.
you.
But then he did say, he was like, nice trainers you've got, and he's like, do you like these ones? That's like, it's a bit weird, but apart from that, he was like,
Yeah,
Straight
still
up there,
love it. He's
straight
involved
up
in
no, but he
it.
was saying like, that's his full thing was like, he needed boys that could do what he wanted. Like when he first went to Scotland, I was in the squad for a few times, and you could see a few of the boys were a wee bit like we play at big teams, like we don't want to just like sit in and let teams come and top us. But I think once the results started coming, I think you do buy into it, you know what I mean? I think now the boys are like fully behind the way they want to
Can
play.
you not buy into it now, can you?
But that's what I
But
mean,
if that's your identity, why would you go away from it?
But what was weird is like when he first started with us, we were terrible at Kilmarnock when he first came. We were bottom of the league, and to start with, it was all about defending. But once he gets that, he sort of like starts to like build out and like this is how we now.
Notice that with Scotland as well.
We can press higher, we can do this. Whereas at Scotland at first he said, look, we've just been scudded 3-0 at Kazakhstan, we need to do something. Like he's got us into a shape, and like we're playing like Cyprus. I think it was Cyprus one of his first games, and we're working that, and boys like, we're playing fucking Cyprus. But then you need to get the basics right, and then
yeah,
build it. You go to Denmark, you're under attacking because he's got that foundation, and now he can sort of go that way. And I think it's what he done at Kilmarnock, done it quicker because he's raised every day. You only get a week at a time, so it's a more gradual process. But
You loved you, didn't you? Have you been out to Philadelphia for a wee holiday?
No, I think he deleted my number after he got the Scotland job.
Yeah, you got a job, didn't you?
Aye, but then after that, I've not heard from him.
What was it like going away with Scotland? Do you remember the day you got the phone call? I like stuff like
It
this.
was
do you?
brilliant. Like, it was under McLeish. McLeish gave me my first call up.
Right, so what, you sit in the house? You sit in your Audi A1 or?
I'd upgraded by then. I'd
Alright.
day free by then.
Right.
No, but we played St Mirren on the Monday night, and then McFadden was doing the co-commentary. He was assistant at the time.
Hard listening.
And I think I got man of the match in the game, and I got like, so he was like buzzing off me, and obviously he was assistant at the time. And I think Cooper had just pulled out the squad. So I got a phone call on this Sunday morning, and it was off the guy, Frank, he's like the liaison guy of that. He's like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow or something? I'm like, oh, like, he's like, oh, Alex wants you to come away with the squad or whatever, and then obviously you're buzzing. So my first game was the Kazakhstan game, the 3-0 game away, and then
Did you play that?
no, I didn't play. I was on the bench, but like obviously that wasn't a great. But like just to be involved in it for the first time was like class. And then obviously I was lucky enough. I eventually got like my one cap that I got against San Marino when Steve Clarke became the manager.
I tell you what, unreal with the call up, but Frank the liaison phoning you. Any chance, big
You
guy?
want the gap?
Pick up the phone, man.
No, that's what I mean. Like
But always
so
is
when
the
it first
liaison
answered-
guy.
Is it?
Aye, even when I
We
when
don't
I
know what
got,
to say.
obviously,
my first time-
I'd say get the gaffer to phone me. I'm not coming.
No.
Who were good guys in the who's good players in the squad?
I've always said like the boy Phil Kearney.
Tom Kearney, good
He's one of the
player.
best
Good
technical
football
players
player.
I've seen. But the one guy I always think anytime we go away is the best player in the squad, Stuart Armstrong. Like he doesn't play that much under him, but he's always going to be in the squad. Like in training, that he's like one thing about Stuart Armstrong, he's rapid. I
He's
didn't know
quick,
he's
mate.
quick. I remember we done
I've bet
like
he's dust a few
it
times.
was the
man.
day after the game. It's like we went to like do like a 4v4 for all the boys that didn't play, and it's like 2v2s, 3v3s. I was up against him. What a long 45 minutes that was when he terrorised me.
I ask that question every time. See when somebody comes back for a Scotland trip, say who's the best player?
But he was the one guy like. But like, there's a lot of good players. You can tell that Andy Robertson, like when you're doing like cross and finishing, every cross is just like on the money. You know what I mean, like the step up. It's amazing how you're only training there for a week. But when I went back to Kilmarnock, I felt I was like the best player in the world because like, you've been training at such a high tempo for such a week. You go around, you can
Are you nervous? See, going into Scotland training, are you nervous?
Aye, I was like when I was.
You're getting flashbacks here, aren't you? That now.
I'm just sitting there.
I can see.
When I was under 19s, 21s, I was like, I like to think I've matured and became like not a sounder guy, but like I used to just be like a wee quiet guy when I went away. I think Ollie McBurney told the story about how they terrorised my room and stuff, right? So I went away. I was like, I'm gonna have to like reclaim myself because everybody still thinks I'm this like wee quiet guy. You know what I mean? But when I went away, like all the guys are brand new. Like I used to just plank myself at a table with Charlie because his stories. I was there when he told the thingy story for the first time. The
Yankee Bravo?
No, the snooker story, the 147.
What was
on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
When he told that story, I was in tears. You know what I mean? But I used to just sit next to him because like the stories he could tell, him and Snodgrass together, it was just unbelievable.
Snoddy's different levels, aren't he?
Aye.
If I was you, so big man, I wouldn't be sitting next to Charlie.
I mean. At least it gives me an excuse to look bad if you're next to him. If I'm sitting next to you, I still look bad then.
Seating plans for the Hyde with some discussion with
I'm not sitting next to him. But mate, see when I say to you about the nerves, I could just go see you got that.
I know, I'm just thinking back to like...
Were you more nervous with that than anything else in your career, Kev? Going to train with like Scotland, Barry Ferguson, Paul
It's the first session, isn't it?
It was more so the first time, but then like I got called up 3 times under 10 times obviously, a lot of times, but under 3 different managers at different points. So I was like 2000, then I was 2009, and then 2011 I think it was. And every single time, the first time, I was like, fuck, even though like when I got to 2011 and I'm like 30 years old, and I'm thinking, oh fucking hell, Darren Fletcher's here again. I'm thinking, I played with Darren though. You feel like you're there for a reason because you've done well enough to be picked, but at the same time you still question yourself. Like, am I good enough to do what they're going to do today? And I remember the first time, like Paul Lambert, Barry Ferguson, Gary Naismith, like Neil McCann.
I can't believe you've just put Gary Naismith.
What I'm saying is Gary Naismith was playing for Everton in the Prem, week in, week out.
I'm not joking.
And then, like, even like Faddy was like this breaking young prospect in Scotland with a daft fucking ponytail and the big red stripe down the middle of the forehead. And you're like, fucking hell, but you just go with it and it works but you're a fucking bag of nerves and Barry Ferguson looks at you.
What's the most nervous you've been? First training session at Rangers?
No, first training session at Hearts.
Was it? Aye.
Oh, aye. Easy.
What,
in terms of why?
No, because I had not kicked a ball for 7 months.
Aye.
I had not kicked one, but you're talking about obviously going to Philadelphia after 2 weeks. I hadn't kicked the ball for 7 months. It was after lockdown.
You know the thing that gets me is like, see when I went away with Scotland and like even when I went to Philly and I hadn't played for a while, and I like to believe I know how good I am, but you know I hate people thinking that I'm shite. So like,
I think most people hate that.
But what I mean is it gets to me, like I'll get the ball and if I play a good pass, if I play a shite pass, and somebody's like, oh, I'm like, oh no, he thinks I'm shite. If I get the ball again, he's going to think I'm going to lose it.
I've had that.
Wait, you still fucking...
But then unit helps, like, they don't do it as much anymore, but for Philly, for example, we had like a day out with all the boys, and like, see when you get to know them, and say it's your pal, so say I was like, you were playing in my team and I got pally with you, it gets to the point you think, I don't care if he thinks I'm shit because he's my pal anyway, and it actually helps you on the pitch, you know what I mean?
To be, I know what you're saying though, because like, mate, after that first session at Hearts, they must have been
video going to boot the boxes.
See when you get a shout something like, who's this with signed or something?
Send them back. I remember I got the Wolves on loan first.
You get a receipt for that?
I know. First day at Wolves training, I got the fucking yellow jersey for being the worst player.
That's a good thing at Philly.
Who do we get him for?
Philly's just like, awesome dude, well done, keep going. Cheers mate.
Kick the ball in the back. Right mate, if this happens right,
wow,
Martin Boyle will be the richest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Now, I know you can't say money.
Money talks, boys.
But mate, if you're getting offered this sort of dough, well, Hibs let him go.
Mate, he must be kicking up fuck. He must be.
I would be doing. What do you call him that turned up?
You'd be doing the chairman's motor, mate, wouldn't you?
Who was him that turned up at the on transfer?
Odemwingie.
I'd be doing what he's doing.
West Brom.
West Brom. I'd be driving to Saudi Arabia, flying over, and just turning up and just saying, look, and saying to Hibs,
I've read the papers.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'm not coming back.
Mate, the money's spent in your head, innit? You've got.
What age is Martin Boyle? 26, 27, maybe a wee bit.
He looks fucking about 40, but I know. About 26.
Aye, so he's got to be thinking the twilight of his career, and somebody's going to be offering him 20 to 30 grand a week. and he's on like a fucking couple of Kit Kats and a whisper at Hibs, you've got to be you've got to be pulling down houses to get yourself
I think
away.
you're on a few quid at Hibs, to be fair, but I know what you're saying.
But Simon,
It's not like these guys.
So what are you doing? You just basically begging the manager?
Mate, you're having a conversation with the manager saying, mate, come on.
if the manager's not having it,
how could I turn that down? It changed my life.
Mate,
Because that's life. Listen, obviously, football players get good money. It's obviously a lot of money, but that's life-changing money.
It's not like one of these guys if you're playing for like Real Madrid and you get a move to China and people are like, why are you going for like... Because the money you're on still, you can do whatever you like, but when you're playing Scotland, the top earner in Scotland, apart from Celtic and Rangers, it's very good money, but if you're getting offered 20, 30 grand a week, that is, as you had a different lifestyle.
And it'll be tax-free, exactly. I'm thinking, knowing Sean Maloney will be understanding the situation.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that's the type of guy he is.
Wins for all parties. If Hibs they're not back a £2 million bid. To get, 3-4 million?
But at the same time, if Sean Maloney says, look, it's up to the chairman, you're flying, you're going to see the chairman, you're sitting him down and saying, look, chairman, you can't give me 25, 30 grand a week. This is going to change my whole life forever. I need this opportunity. It's like...
You can't say no to that.
Much you on at Philadelphia?
If you want to Google it, every wage in them,
Get it up. Somebody get it up.
It's on. But the thing
I don't know why, because like the league own all the players in America. You're not owned by the teams.
Because it's a franchise type.
How gutted are the Scuddies in the league? That wages is online.
He's sitting here like that.
The Scuddies are on.
Imagine America nightclub trying to batter into a bird on the MLS salary. Check how much he's on. Oh my God, he's on 30.
But see, at the end of the day, if Martin Boyle's got to be professional about the whole situation, because what you don't want to end up happening is where it's an absolute no, and he then becomes a stinker or a mood and doesn't perform the way he's been performing with Hibs. So there's a balance to be had.
You need to let him go.
And I think Hibs have got to let him go. As it'd be a sad miss to Scottish football, because I think this season in particular, Martin Boyle's done as good as anybody. 30 grand a week, fucks me, man.
Obviously, it's a different kettle of fish, but like when I was at Kelly and obviously I had the Philadelphia interest, it's no anywhere near like the same scale as moving from there to there for that money, but still something I had to do. And like obviously Kelly wanted me to stay as out of contract at the end of the season, but you can fall out with people without being a bad egg about it.
Tossing it off in it.
You can say that I'm not happy, but
look at Lewis Ferguson. He never got his move and he's went and done well again.
You're still going to play well in the bar, because you know yourself, if you chuck the toys out, you're not going to play on a Saturday, then you're not going to get that opportunity again. The only way you're going to keep getting the opportunities if you do well in the games, you know what I mean? So I think you'll kick up and you'll maybe fought with a few boys, but you're going to have to keep playing if you're going to keep that going.
Yeah, that's £500 a week in expenses. Decent deal, big man.
Take that one, yeah.
3 house into the bargains. I can't
Take that all day, mate.
So will he stay or will he go? Definitely go.
I think the writing's on the wall.
If the rumours are true, he's off.
He's off. It has to be.
It's up. Like, obviously, it's not up to him. It's if Hibs want to stick their feet in, but at the same time, if you're going to sit with an unhappy player, and as I said to you, they're signing the boy from America who is kind of similar mould. So I don't know if maybe they've had an idea that something was going to
you said that. So gives a wee bit, because Hibs fans are watching, gives a wee bit of insight in there.
He actually plays a very similar way. Either play on the right or the left or up front, bit of pace, direct. So he is very similar to what Boyle is. I don't know if that's maybe like
why they brought him in
eventually, but if that's the case, maybe it would have been accepted, or maybe they want both of them. But as I said, you're going to have an unhappy guy, or you're going to get that money in. If you do it early enough, you can maybe spend a bit. Yeah.
If Hibs have signed this American boy in a similar ilk, maybe this move's been on before the January transfer, and maybe this
has been linked to a few teams for a while.
Maybe this has been on. So Hibs have probably done their due diligence and prepared for this situation. Due diligence. That's a fucking tough couple of words, isn't it? What is it? Due diligence. Due diligence.
Check your pockets for chicken wings.
I tell you one thing for sure. They're going to name a doggy bag.
Sitting there like that.
But no, it'll be a blow to the Scottish football, because I think Martin Boyle's been
he's been good at Hibs, hasn't he?
He's been very good. But no, it'll be a massive blow to Hibs. But Hibs, if they get a few million quid in, that's money to go and maybe get somebody.
Waste of 30 grand a week, mate. G-Star jeans, the thin Converse and a Lion Scott polo.
Is that him?
I don't know what he's going to do with 30 grand a week, mate.
I don't know, but
he could easily live on 20 quid a week.
He might go for Lyle and Scott to Ralph or then a wee horse and polo. You never know.
Yeah.
I tell you what an unbelievable opportunity.
Mate.
30 bags.
Do you care that you live in Saudi Arabia at that point?
Well, I had the opportunity to go to Russia for 25 bags a month tax free, and I said no, because I went there and I couldn't live there.
Why not?
I just couldn't. I was fucking like...
Oh, but you actually went over?
Aye.
Oh, I think you've said
I was like 3 hours away from Moscow, and the flight from Moscow to obviously here was like 5-6 hours. And I was like, fucking hell, man.
Many meals do you have on that flight?
Oh, not that many. I was slimmer back then, Simon. And I couldn't do it. Nah, money, I ended up family came first.
That's
25 a month, mate. This is...
That's 120 a month.
That's too much.
That's a different level.
It's like 3 million quid a year. No, wait a minute. 1.5 million a year if it's 30 bags a week.
Yeah.
If you get bored, you just log into your online bank and have a look at
Just
that.
sit
I was thinking of something else online, but
you know what to do over there. Ewan Henderson's, what a move for Ewan Henderson, by the way. Good football player though.
Aye.
I do like him, but he went to Ross County, done okay. But to go and get a 3.5-year deal at Hibs, what an opportunity for him there.
No, I know. But Maloney seen him at Celtic.
Yeah,
Maloney,
20 as well. He is a good football player, Ewan Henderson.
I think the way that Maloney's going to want to play at Hibs, he's going to suit it because you've seen how well his brother's
Technical.
doing, and they are very similar players. I mean, I think if he's got anything like the mindset his brother, moving to a bigger club's not going to be an issue for him because he believes he'll be able to do that there. And I think Maloney's a perfect manager for him, somebody that believes in him and knows what he can do because he's worked with him. You know what I mean?
It's a good move for him at this point in his career because he's not going to break out the Celtic team and command a spot there. So he needs to go out and play every week. And I think as all the teams that you can go to in the SPL or whatever, even down south, I think Hibs would be a good fit, especially with Sean being there.
Yeah.
Sean will help him. Sean will know what he's working with. And who knows?
What I always think about Ewan Henderson, he's one of the boys, is what's his position?
Aye.
He's not centre mid, is he a wide player? Is he a 10 probably?
I imagine Sean Maloney's probably got a position for him in mind because we've seen that with most managers, seen that certainly around Postecoglou as well. If you're in a market and you know you can get a player who you know first of hand, you've seen them training every single day, you've seen them in games,
Fits your system, yeah.
Makes sense to go out and get them. And I think it's again fits both parties. I think he's a young kid too. He's been in this sort of periphery and now he's got some experience with Celtic. You like that?
Very good. And Andy, you've linked it with Ange Postecoglou because he's not. It's seamless. The word seamless, mate. Seamless. You didn't get this in fucking America, do you?
They don't have football podcasts.
It's a different word, isn't it?
Have they not got football podcasts?
I mean, they probably do, but it's the fifth sport in America.
It's Pelly that does the podcast, isn't it?
Right.
Pelly and Alan Brazil for the Cosmo days.
Right. It's soccer
still
podcast as
doing
well. It's soccer.
Is it soccer? Is it?
It's soccer, yeah.
And again,
It's soccer.
I forgot that. Is this talk us through like a typical day's training? What do you do in training?
Training's pretty not far off what you do anywhere else. I mean, like it's always the same passing, warm up, a rondo. They don't do boxes, it's rondos.
Rondos, right.
Into possession, but everything's like Scotland's all about running stuff. Like I joined just for end of pre-season. It's nothing like that. It's like real fitness work. It's like they'll do like possession, but it'll be like 5 or 6 blocks of 2 minutes. It'll only be like a 10-minute possession drill. It'll be like everything for 2 minutes, so they can go as sharp as they can for as quick long as they can. Then they just cut it. So every 2 minutes is proper.
Especially with the heat over there, man.
Yeah.
Like it's not
what factory you wearing over there?
I've got a Tipex
So the 3 minute.
No, but like during the summer it is like mental. So if you've done any longer than that, there's no chance. But
Right, Celtic have dipped into you ready for this? The Oceania market.
Nice. Well done.
I did, I wrote that myself.
You need to say the names, but
Right, ready? Daizan Maeda.
yeah.
That was good, wasn't it? Yusuke
Edeguchi.
and Rio Hatate.
Love that, Simon.
Yes.
What a man.
Obviously, does anybody know anything about them? The boy up front, I've only really seen the boy, but his stats are ridiculous.
Aye.
I think if you look at obviously
Eric
Kyogo,
Ferguson in it up front.
if you brought in Kyogo first, if he's anything to go by, he's took to it well. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine it's going to do him any harm if you've got. He's coming in his cell, can't speak English. If you've got 4 of them, it's going to make them settle quicker. Like, if that's one to go by, you're expecting something for the 3 of them, you know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to the Gucci guy, the one that looks like Derek.
That's the best shout ever. I can't look at him any other.
Amount of people that message me
obviously dipped a couple of clips this week of training and stuff, and he's obviously a striker. And I seen a wee bit of movement, and I thought, oh, aye, this is sharp. And I thought, going one way, waiting for the defender to move, going the other way, and it's basic stuff, but to execute it.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, it'd be interesting to see how they perform. We didn't know how Kyogo was going to perform, or we heard things like he's the next big this, that, and the other, and he's obviously lived up to his billing. But these 3 guys have come in. They've all, like you say, Simon, they've all got great stats and stuff, and
Makes sense, doesn't it?
it does. I think he knows that market. He knows
the league
what
now
he
as well,
got.
doesn't he? He
So
knows
he's not going to bring them
takes
all the way over from one part of the world to another if he thinks that they can't cope with the demands of Scottish football. So for me, I think it'll be a win-win, and it'll be great to see on Monday if they get an opportunity and see what they're like.
Striker looks like another one that wants to go behind the team, doesn't he?
I mean, that's the thing. It's smart business. For how technical the Japanese league is, because we've seen with the Japanese players when they go to the World Cup, they're very technical. If you're getting the top scorer in the league for £4 million,
how is that, man?
Come
How's
on.
that team just going
Do you
to
remember when way off topic? But remember when the World Cup 2000 was it 2002 or 2000, whatever it was, the one in South Korea?
when Pele scored another goal?
2002.
Was it South Korea? And South Korea burst onto the scene.
Yeah,
There's all these
that's
wee
right.
South Koreans
Yeah.
at the Ji-Sing Park and all these
Yeah.
guys. And everybody's like, oh, they're just here to make up the numbers. And they got to like the quarter final.
Beat Italy, didn't they?
Or they should have got to the semis.
Yeah, that's right.
And they probably could have got to final. And then a lot of them went into the English market and all over Europe and what have you because of the. And I remember we played them. And I was like, fucking hell, technically, that was one of the best teams I've ever played. And I feel like it's one of them untapped markets that people maybe haven't quite ready to take a chance on it.
Yeah,
and obviously,
definitely.
with Big Ange, he's obviously been in there, he's took that opportunity. It could be a market that the Scottish, because of the cost involved, the transfer fees only massive. It probably fits the criteria of Scottish football. Ideally, would love to be bringing in homegrown talent, but the opportunity, it's win at all costs. And if Celtic think that these three are going to make a difference to their squad and give them a chance of winning the league this year, then let's see how it goes.
Great analysis.
A lot of managers do it. Like any manager that goes somewhere will take a few boys with him, and like this is just the same thing. Only everybody says it's a bigger deal because he's bringing unknown boys for Japan. But if this was like a manager for down south and they brought 3 boys up for the championship, you wouldn't really be making a big deal about it. But if he knows what they can do in a game, he's proved it with Kyogo. You need to give him a chance. Like I think they probably will be successful.
Yeah, Big Alessio said that if he gets a job, he's going to take you, didn't he?
Alessio.
You want to talk about that? It was always going. Did he come in after? No, it was the assistant got it.
No, it's Alessio got straight after.
Straight after. It was always going to be difficult coming in after Steve Clark.
The issue is, right, after Steve Clark, all we needed was somebody to come in and do the exact same.
I know, but you're going to get somebody to do that.
No, but somebody at least like just follow the same. He's came in and like our first day of pre-season, he's got mannequins set up, right?
Right.
And he's got a bib on like 5 different mannequins. And we're in shape in 11. This is like the first day of pre-season. You want to do, like, everybody says they hate pre-season, but you want to get fit in pre-season, you want to do a bit of running. We're standing there, he tried to colour a mannequin, and we had to, kid on that mannequin had the ball, and the full team had to press in shape.
Mate, that's a very European.
The
The thing is, like, it's not fair enough, but
why do I keep doing that?
not that we were like big time now at Kelly, but we just finished third. We said like we're the most organised team in the league. We don't need to be standing next to mannequins. We know what we're doing. Like it's almost as if like he was coming into a team. See if he'd come in before Steve Clark, we can maybe buy into it because we had to do something. But we know how to be in shape and like no training was ever hard work. Like you said Decano, like the chain was.
Have you done that, mate? But it was a sprint like the right mid, and then you had to shuffle
I
across.
was at Pedro Senior.
The big thing as well, like, his language barrier was massive. Like he generally, I knew as much Italian as he knew English. It was proper.
Was it basic?
And he refused to get a translator. He got Donati in, who was like his number 2, who could speak English, but Donati also wanted his own ideas a wee bit. And he might go on and do well somewhere. A lot of people have got like things to say, but I just don't think it was the right fit for Kelly at that time. It was never going to work after what we'd had. You know what I mean? That's the way I'd look.
That old one, the manager's telling you something, the assistant's like, no,
choking for the first
And then his first game, he got beat off a 11 of John Hartson's mates, didn't he?
11 guys at the pub, wasn't it?
That was a bad night.
Was that bad?
Because like we were up for the first leg, and like but the first game he's got like me and Cut Broadfoot, right? We beat them down there 2-1, but I think I covered that 11k in the game because he's got us two basically on the touchline. We get the ball, drive forward. Like we're playing as almost like wingers. This Gary Dicker's dropping into his third centre back. I'm like I get that's the way you want to play and stuff, but
no get the players to do it.
We won 2-1 in the last minute. I thought to myself like we got away one there. We'll beat them at home. That's the way I was thinking. Obviously, it was a disaster at home, but it's just you need to know what you've got. Like. You know what you're coming into, you can keep it going. You don't need to try and recreate the wheel for Kelly, and then obviously it just became a disaster for him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Alright. 3 Japanese plus Kyogo like miss the Rangers game. That's massive.
How's that?
Because they've been called up for international.
Oh, right, okay.
But
will that have a significant outcome in the game?
Is there a talk about
them no needing to go or something like that?
Well, I also seen that it was only Kyogo that was getting called up, but I don't know how true that
I
is.
think
Well, listen, see, the question is, if they miss the 4 of them, it's going to be a big difference, because the reason that the window is so big for Celtic is for these games.
Yeah.
The games against Rangers,
Yeah.
where
And the other
a
ones that
bigger
they need to win,
squad
don't they?
and improving the
But
start
would you-
is going
would
to make
you-
the bigger difference.
like, obviously they might be good players, but would you fling all 4 of them into the first game being an Old Firm game?
I bet if they've got a couple of games
It'll be a few
beforehand.
games, though, won't it?
Yeah.
Aye. Because
Did you trust Derek Ferguson to go and do it for
There's
you?
been many
Against Rangers.
Especially when they didn't want to leave Rangers.
Why did you sell David Taylor? Derek, he's a bright mate, it's a hydro man.
Oh dear.
That's a good point though, would they have played in the game? Well, Turnbull's not playing, done it. You think
Kyle
maybe
was a
the
massive
midfield
miss
player.
because he would have played. He's
Yes.
the main man, but the other three, can you really miss guys that haven't played yet?
Been there.
You know what I mean? Like,
I just do
Obviously,
think
it'd be
they're
better to
coming in
have
to
them.
improve
Aye.
the team, isn't they? So it's
So on the thing about cancelling the game because there's so many internationals now, we do it when in Scotland and England. If you've got players away, you can cancel the game. You can request for it cancelled. Is that no a thing here?
Right,
No?
Ask that again next week. We'll talk
Okay,
about it.
mate.
I think
Ask that again
I
next
do
week.
think that is a thing.
Because because when we played, we played the likes of Sunderland the other week. There, I went down to watch Sunderland over the festive
Aidan sorted
period.
you out tickets?
No, I was phoning him for something else, and I didn't phone that number because the last time I asked you for a fucking number, you gave me his number, and you tried to get me in a wind up. So
Who
I'm
was
not
that
doing
again?
it. That was a long time ago. Before
Kenny McLean.
Kenny McLean.
Kenny McLean, I asked you for Kenny McLean's number, you gave me his number, and you're like, I need ball, mate, I'll sort that out for you. So when you sent me Aidan's number, I thought,
He asked, what was it? He asked for a signed Norwich strip.
Signed Norwich?
And
No,
I
aye.
says, only if you get me a signed Peter Reid picture.
you said I would get me a signed Peter Reid picture. I know, I need ball, mate.
That was when I first came on the podcast.
That's right, that was at the beginning. So no, I went down to watch Sunderland Sheffield Wednesday. I'll tell you right now, I forgot to mention him.
Ross
because
Stewart.
No, I forget Big Ross.
Was it?
I forget about him.
CB Barry Bannon, unbelievable.
But he can't get on a roller coaster, mate, so there's no
I know he can't on a roller coaster, but why is he playing for Sheffield Wednesday?
Good player, isn't he?
Yeah,
He is. He
Barry's
could,
a good player.
See if anybody, like, I don't know if they can afford him because he's probably still on a good wage, but he could come up here and rip the Scottish.
Well, him and Sean could share clays as well.
Mate, could share shoes. Share
Sheffield
shoes.
Wednesday are a big
Only
club,
2
though.
footballers at Shop Brady Gap. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But
is
and
very
Big Ross
good.
Stewart was doing brilliant, scored a hat trick that
Great
night.
to see Ross Stewart. Eh?
Aye,
Could he
superb.
get a wee call up, Scotland?
No, I
Why?
don't think in the history of Scottish call-ups we've ever had somebody from League One in England being
Face
called
Sunderland,
up.
thank
No,
you.
face
fucked it
Sunderland.
for
He's a
us.
good player though. I like him.
But he's decent.
Aye.
He's at Ross County, isn't he?
Aye. When he was at Ross County, like, you thought he was just like a big runner behind, but he can play a bit as well. He
Yeah,
can pop off and stuff. I really
Sunderland
like
fans call him the Loch Ness Drogba.
Did it, eh? Well, there's another one for you, mate. He was playing junior. Then he was. I played against him at Albion Rovers. And there you go.
Tell me
Aye,
you
that's
watched.
right, I've been
Tell me
nervous,
you
aye.
watched. Sorry, I keep going away from the topic here. Tell me you watched you only done highlights last night. Sunderland, Lincoln.
Chris
Chris
Maguire.
Maguire.
Maguire, what a boy.
Scored a goal and fucking obviously
Lee
Lee
Johnson.
Johnson, brilliant. That is shithouser at its finest. That's the kind of thing I'd have done back in the day. Get that right up
Chris
me.
has been like that since he's been. We used to play against him. He was at Aberdeen as a kid. We'd never shut
He
up.
was one of the greatest guys. He was so funny.
Who, Chris Maguire?
Chris Maguire.
Aye,
Played
he
with
slaughtered
Kilmarnock.
people, couldn't he?
Great guy.
How did he what? Slaughtering boys like?
He just was like a pure wind-up melt.
Yeah.
And see his impression of Jimmy Calderwood. God, like Jimmy Calderwood, obviously, he used to take the piss out of Jimmy because he worked with Jimmy at Aberdeen.
Aye, they
Jimmy
liked
brought him.
each other, didn't they?
And fucking hell, man, his impression of Jimmy Calderwood's right up there with one of the best.
What a boy.
But, no, he was good. But no, what were we talking about? Fucking
Barry Bannon.
Barry Bannon, brilliant.
Andy's got a great story about Barry Bannon and Ibiza.
No. No.
Tell it. I've not
I'll
heard
never
it.
tell that
I've
again,
not
mate, I
heard
told
it
you
for the
that.
summer.
I've not heard
Hand
this.
gets tied.
Aye, no, I will never tell that again, mate.
Now,
Right,
what's
they
your
go down like a shit sandwich.
Your ex-teammate as well, done. Big Woodgate loves you.
Big Woody, aye.
Loves
man,
you,
innit?
mate. Aye, good guy,
Top
isn't
man.
he?
I need to know this Bannon story.
No, I'll tell you after. With the cameras on
It's
there.
got a Woodgate story in Ibiza as well, mate.
And that's another one I'm not telling. Mate, we done SWG free for 23 shows in a month. And I told a story about fucking 21 of them. I'll never tell it again, trust me.
If I ever to tell these stories ever again, I swear to God.
Aye.
Well, Woodgate seems like top man, though.
Aye,
He was the most humble guy for the career he's had, honestly. Like, so down to earth, fucking brilliant with young boys, and what a player, mate.
Aye.
Honestly, what a player.
Interviews he
He
stepped
was
up
a
a
Rolls
notch, to be
Royce.
fair.
Aye.
Some
I
of the guys
still-
are getting on are brilliant.
Right, Eddie Howe.
Wow,
is
he's having
having
a
a
world day.
shocker. Cambridge United beat them at the weekend. I've said like dodged the bullet. I think we spoke about this before, but it's beginning to look even more like.
Well, talking about signing Kylian Mbappe for 300 million. Now we've signed Chris Wood.
What did I
Kelly
tell you?
Sheridan, they're
What did I
getting
tell you?
Chris Wood.
Kylian Mbappe's no playing with Paul Dummett. I'll tell you.
Yeah, we fucking Deadwood.
Can we talk to they say Cambridge after the game though? Any
Jane the Sue.
respect? Any respect I had for them beating Newcastle? I
What
wish
were
they'd
they
go
doing at
back.
Ronaldo?
Was it the
All up done the Ronaldo.
What is that?
celebration.
People think that's the guy done it. I love it. Anfield as well, didn't he?
Ronaldo gets away with it because Ronaldo. MDL's over age. If you've got double figures of age and you do
Even
that,
he needs to grow up and stop doing that, Ronaldo. Eh? Just get the Alan Shearer or something and get back to halfway.
I think Newcastle go down.
Especially when you're 3-0 down against Wolves.
The
Newcastle go down.
Think so?
Aye.
Because obviously the bottom four is Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, and
Norwich and Newcastle are both down already.
there's four of them, and there's only like 2 points separate the four, and then there's
Newcastle-
like 7 or 8 points between
That and the
fifth
next
bottom.
one, yeah.
So it's
Newcastle
between
like that
three or
team you
four.
say every year though. Every year they'll be the team that go down, but they've stayed up for
Burnley are
the
the same
last.
thing, then.
Burnley, that's what I was going to say. I'm always like that with Burnley.
I think,
always
I
they'll
think
do.
Burnley's time's up this time.
I think you could be right, Kev. They've just sold. How's Chris Wood getting moves for 20 million?
I don't know, but he's
man?
got chicken wing sauce on his cheek. How is that even possible? It's here.
Up a bit.
Where is it? Yeah, fuck's sake, man. I'm here.
Oh, is
Shocker. Tell you what, by the
Fine,
way,
mate, that's why we're loving it.
I'm a big chicken wing fan, and I
I
thought
would
the
fucking noticed.
I thought the ones at SWG3 were good, but fuck me, they're
Nice,
they're unbelievable.
Right, Tony Watts signed a pre-contact with Dundee United.
Bumped into Tony over Christmas in
Right,
Cruise.
gives a wee bit of
spending
insight
his-
in it. Spending his signing on fee.
Spending his sign-on fee.
He'll be getting a few quid there now, wouldn't he?
I think it's a good move for him. I think
Why?
it's
Is it not a backward step?
probably a backward step in terms of Motherwell are flying and out and D United probably aren't, but that could all change quite quickly with signings next. So for me, I think Tony Watt's looking after himself,
Yeah.
which at that his age and his point in his career, I think
Good
that's
point.
a very selfish but very correct way of looking at things, because you're not going to play forever. Has he done well for Motherwell? He has done. I don't think Motherwell have much argument. And when it comes to finance in Scottish football, there's only certain teams can pay certain amount of money to certain players, and Dundee United have obviously got, by the looks of things, a wealthier chairman than Motherwell.
But how frustrating is for a guy like Graham Alexander when coaching and management goes out the window, mate? When a team, 3 places, 4
I know.
places, and you can just come and take your best player.
Listen, I gave you, but 3 months ago, Graham Alexander told Tony Watt could leave. Isn't that me?
Yes.
Did he?
And Tony Watt
That's
continued
the
to...
thing with football. Like
I never knew that.
fans maybe, players don't show any loyalty. But if you have a bad 6 months, and a club wants to get rid of you, like nobody's going to moan at
They
the club.
go at the start of the year.
Yep.
But then, at that point, they never had another striker yet, so he continued to play, kept scoring. And does ever they got his move to Dundee United, so...
But if you're flying at a club, but a club have got an opportunity to bring something in that's better than you, they're not going to think twice
No,
about it.
that's
so
true.
It's sort of, I can understand why fans get angry at stuff like that because it's a sideward step and all that. But at the same time, the club are going to be the first people to date to a player.
I don't think Motherwell would be as affected as the people think though, because I think the boy Van Veen's very good.
Yes.
And see when he plays in the left, I don't think he's anywhere near as good. So I think if Tony Watt ends up leaving this window, which I'd be pretty surprised if it doesn't happen.
I'd be
Van Veen
disappointed
back up
with-
front, I think he'll be good for Motherwell.
I'd be disappointed with how Motherwell conducted their business. So I'm very well saying he could go when he did. But he's been scoring goals quite regularly for Motherwell for a good part of this season. So
Yeah.
there was an opportunity there for Motherwell earlier than what they did to tie him down, to not allow this to happen. But they've allowed it to get to January and allowed him to get. So for me,
Plus,
we don't know if Motherwell maybe have tried, but it looks
but
like
he doesn't know Motherwell anymore.
No, of course he
They
doesn't.
told him 6 months ago he can go.
That's what I mean.
He's done himself.
Yep.
The world are good to continue to stay the team and score goals. So he's obviously earned his move, hasn't he?
I'd pay to listen to a conversation between Tony and Tam Courts.
Oh wow,
That would be...
that would be
And he's
amazing.
filmed.
By the way,
Please, Dundee United, can you film the first combo with...
we will pay good money as
Tam
well.
and Tony.
35,000 a month. We'll get the ladies fat money.
Mate, I would let them talk on the Hydro for 2 hours and I'd
Aye.
pay 30 quid to
Aye.
watch it. Easy.
he's,
And that could be, the 2 shows were good. That could be the best show.
That could be the best show, yeah, 100%.
No, you're right. I like your point, Andy. Like loyalty in football, like Tony Watt's done well for Motherwell. It's not as if like he's done well for them, and I think that you're talking about Dundee United. That's what they need. They need Tony Watt now because they're not scoring enough
No,
goals.
it's
They
a great
need Tony
signing for
Watt now.
Dundee United,
It's
yeah.
a great signing.
Signing in the window for me. Nadir Sif, St Johnstone.
How is he 29?
And I'll
He
tell you
was at Dundee
something.
United when he was 19.
Did you play against him when he was at Dundee United?
No, but he was good, wasn't he?
Brilliant, mate.
Was good.
Really good. I thought he was the best out of Mackay, Stevens, Armstrong, Sifsky. I thought Sifsky was the best at the team when we played them.
Well, he must have been, 'cause he got the move to Celtic.
Where's he been before St Johnstone?
Steve
I'm not
Bruce.
sure to be I'm not sure, but I can't believe he was 29. I can't believe he was 19 at Dundee United.
I know.
Because he was a
10 year ago,
man,
was
wasn't
it?
he?
Yeah,
He
he was a
massive.
monster.
Was it
He's the
10 year
kind of
ago?
signing. He's the
I was at Dundee, so it'd been about 8 years ago.
Aye.
He's the kind of signing that I think
21
St Johnson are crying out for a talisman to try and get their. He nearly coped out of my chicken wings. They've been fucking all hell broke loose here. He's the kind of guy that could get St Johnson's season going because they're going to have to find something. Because ultimately they're in a precarious position now.
Oh, precarious
wow.
Tell you what, Si, your shout at him finishing third didn't turn out to
No, I said if they kept their squad, mate. Come on, Gates.
Aye.
They lost 4 starters for what I went after.
Aye,
it,
That's
so-
what happens, mate. It's
Come on,
football.
mate.
See on another St Johnson matter. I didn't
Yes.
see it in the notes. The boy that signed the new deal, Ali Crawford, Slaney.
Slaney, aye.
They weren't too happy with that, eh? The fans,
I seen that.
which is a bit harsh
Yeah.
because you're on loan. And
No,
then he's now,
I don't know if he was there with a view to signing permanent. I don't know the
Aye.
ins and outs of it, but
but St Johnson for me need as many signings as they possibly can get just to try and G up what they have already there.
Mental that can happen though, like you can have such a good season and just like 1 or 2 wee things change just kills it like any like sort of
yeah.
It's good a run you can go on winning every week.
Aye.
It can happen the same the other way when you start losing every
Aye,
week.
it's
What,
very,
Very
very
tell me,
hard
what were
still,
they
though.
third in them within 2 years championship?
it's like when it's like a habit thing, isn't it?
Oh,
Like,
of course it is.
when you see you lose it before 3 or 4 games, you actually think to yourself like, how do you actually win a game?
When
of
are we
football
gonna
again?
get-
Like,
You end up trying too
I've had that for fucking 12 years.
I still think St Johnson will be alright.
Did you?
Nah, like they've got. I
Still
think
got good players. I think
He's a very
that
good
signing's
manager. Don't become a
massive
bad
signing for
manager overnight. It's like having a bad patch.
No,
but
I
still-
get that, but their last game against Celtic was one of the worst performances I've seen in the season. For
The
anything.
break probably came at a good time for St Johnson to refresh the batteries, like I say, get a couple of signings in and be ready to go again.
See, that being said, right, that didn't look like St Johnson the way they
No,
played against Celtic.
it didn't, that's
They
why
were
I
trying
started
play
to
out
worry.
for the back a wee bit, weren't they? It seems as if
Sitting
they were.
off them, they weren't pressing.
Aye, no, I thought that
was
was
worried
a bit
for them
strange
when I
as well.
seen it.
But I do think that they're crying out for a goal scorer because as well as Chris Kane's done at times and Stevie May's done at times,
score
they've not
enough
really
goals.
scored
No.
they've not really scored the goals required this year. So
I think Chifty will
It'll be
do that because
competition.
he got a spell at Motherwell as well, and he wasn't like.
He's temperamental, isn't he? Sifsky,
Aye.
I think Callum Davidson would be a good type for him. I think he's quite
That's a player, isn't
good
he? You
man
don't do what
manager.
you done at Dundee United if you're not a player. But he went to Motherwell and like didn't he wasn't amazing there. But like if you sign a name like that, he's got the potential to turn around and do good
Yeah.
for you.
What did Mackay Stevens say about him? Bloody hell, Nods!
Oh,
You're going to move,
but
Nods.
some of his language he was using was terrible. Swearing constantly.
Sometimes I had to put my fingers in my ears when Nods was talking.
Manager used to say, earmuffs every time he swore.
Earmuffs.
Cover my ears.
Earmuffs, guys, earmuffs, Nods.
There's children in the room, guys.
What a man, GMS.
I don't know why.
I've got a story.
Oh, yes.
It's not even a story, right? This is a fact, by the way. Before you think I'm joking just to get on Thursday, right? Because it's a pathetic place in the world. In Thursday, right? In Thursday, a Domino's van comes once a month and drives in Thursday. Like an ice cream van.
Charlie, I'm gonna tell
And
you.
they all queue up for a Domino's pizza.
true, mate.
I've heard that a few wee remote villages. and
That's
towns.
unbelievable. A Domino's van.
Crazy.
Once a month. Even once a week. Fuck's sake, it's
you
a
imagine-
Tuesday for two for
Can I
Tuesday.
just a guy out with a horn, everyone just comes out the house.
You don't know.
There's a guy with a horn. He's got the horn every day, that
You
man.
don't know what that's like. You're obviously a Glasgow boy. You lived in a city, Dundee, where you faced you.
I'm for Glasgow as well.
Glasgow as well. So see, like so myself growing up in Stranraer, I didn't get my first McDonald's till 14. I didn't
No,
even know that.
fuck
Come
off.
on, a
lying.
McDonald's.
I swear my kids like
Stop lying. 14.
14 went to a football tournament there and the
How are
guy
you so
says,
big?
Fuck off.
There was a KFC.
And then you went every day since.
the guy says, the football manager says,
up
right,
for it.
we're going to McDonald's tonight, what do you want? And I went, what's McDonald's? He went, it's a fast food. I went, just whatever. He says, what do they do? He says, burgers and chicken. I says, give me chicken nuggets and chips. That was my first ever McDonald's meal, 14-year-old. Here, just beside here, racecourse.
So what were you eating for, like, takeaway?
Definitely.
Just a chippy doing sure, aye. Chippy's just the Romano's chippy or you got the typical Chinese. That was all we had.
You're definitely a mock chop in the chip, ain't you?
What? No, I'm a king rib supper.
I knew you'd be
That's a
something like
posh
that,
chip, is
mate.
it not?
King rib supper, fucking loaded with salt and vinegar.
Do you?
That's a boiling
Love it.
special after a night out.
I'm not really a massive chippy fan, but
hate
I'd
a chippy,
be a
but-
half pizza crunch if I was getting in.
That's what Lynn
When you're
likes,
in that
half
taxi
pizza
queue at
crunch.
Central, the boiling just shines out.
Oh, mate,
What are you?
I'm not a big chippy fan.
I don't
honestly.
like chippies, but I'm going for
Since
the
he's
king
moved to
rib.
America, he doesn't
no.
eat chippies, huh?
It's
I
more the
go
feel.
to like Chick-fil-A and that now.
No.
Not a big chip. Do you know what I like for America? Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I do like that.
But the good food is good.
Is the
yeah,
food amazing, mate? What about, and even round the club and that? Lunch, breakfast?
I mean, that's alright. It's just like normal football food, but like all your wee sort of, like as I say,
Wee
like
fast food
Chick-fil-A,
places, isn't it?
Chipotle, and that's just a different gravy, honestly. Like a proper taco.
Simon loves his food, didn't
Oh,
you?
I'd love
you
that,
should
mate.
do like food reviews because
food review, I would like that.
Get me in on that podcast.
But hey,
I love
no,
it.
Why don't we do
not,
that?
not a touching Bucks Bar.
No, no chance.
No,
No,
no
but
chance,
we
no
should do
chance.
that. Go to a different restaurant every week and review it.
Do you know what?
Aye.
I'm actually
You did a
gutted
podcast
that
and eat
this-
after
I'm
it.
gutted this came before the podcast. I'd love to.
That'll
eat
be
something.
good cold, mate, I'm telling you.
Aye.
Aye.
A bit of wings, but
I'm taking it. You can take the A ones, but you're not fucking touching them.
Right, Xander Clark, near bad news for St Johnstone, fuck's sake, it doesn't rain, it pours. It looks like Xander Clark's going to go Rangers, Aberdeen and Dundee United being linked on that. It'd be a massive loss to St Johnstone. He's been brilliant for
He's
them,
probably
hasn't
been the main man over the last
he?
few
Terrible beard, but
Aye.
brilliant in
Shocking,
Jumanji as
aye.
well.
years. Again, he's been pretty loyal to St Johnstone over the years, and he's done well for them. He probably feels as if he deserves his move if there's teams that have been linked with him that I can see there. But do you know what I was thinking this when I seen the questions last night? See, in Scotland, the standard goalies are very good at.
Yeah.
Standard goalkeepers in
They've always had
Scotland.
good goalies. Even some of the foreign guys that come over, I like that goalie at Hibs. What's his name? The one
Macy?
that,
No, Marciano.
Marciano. I thought
Yeah,
he was very
decent.
good. Aye.
Yeah.
He's not there now, is he?
No,
No,
it's
but he was. But
amazing.
Seagrass, good. Seagrass being linked with
Seagrass,
Rangers
aye.
as well.
I think
Liam
the
Kelly.
issue,
Liam
the
Kelly.
issue with St Johnstone is very similar to what we had at Kelly. If you have that good a season, people are going to be interested in your best players. It's impossible to hold
Yeah.
on. Like we lost like Sods didn't sign a new contract. JJ went to Rangers. Greg Taylor, Celtic. Like it's impossible for these teams to consistently do because you're not going to be able to compete when big boys come for your best players. You know what I mean? I think that's what's happened to them as well.
Who was the best player in that Kelly team? He's in him. Dicker and Power were two Rottweilers, mate, weren't they?
They were brilliant in there,
Oh.
but like the player I think we did miss the most is we lost him halfway through. Greg Stewart. You'll know yourself.
Oh,
Good player.
Greg Stewart was.
caviar Greg Stewart. Problem is he
Caviar,
wants to eat
what
it
a
all, huh?
Aye, but he was. That 6 months I've never played with him this good in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before that we had like JJ used to just get us out. He was one of the best ball carriers you could get. Like, but Kelly wasn't known for having like any amazing players. But when we got him, I generally think if he stayed, we
Greg.
could have stayed up. Like we were top of the league for like a couple of weeks. We would never have won the league. But I think if we'd kept him, he was honestly that good. He could have done.
Greg Stewart's one of the best finishers I've played with.
Oh, that
Finishing.
slew, mate, with the left foot.
Honestly,
Unbelievable
If you
finisher.
think it's bad, if it happens to you in a game, see getting chopped off him every day.
Oh, mate, he
He's
make
got-
me every day at
He's got
Dundee.
the
too.
best chop
Yeah.
ever seen in world football. I don't care what anybody says.
Mark Pugh.
Mark
just
Pugh,
played
is
against
it
Mark Pugh.
Bournemouth? Oh, what a player.
That
Remember
Mark
Mark
chop,
Pugh, mate.
man. Oh
Yeah.
my
But
days.
he was comfortably the best. That's 6 months that I've just never seen anything like this.
Loved Dicky like
I'll
pie
give
food,
you-
didn't he, Greg?
I'll give you the current best chopper.
That fucking
Aye,
thing in the
that-
pants there, that's the best shot.
We had Maris.
Yeah,
Mate, did you watch that?
They're talking different.
I know,
level
but
now,
did you
yeah.
watch that Man City Arsenal game?
What about did you
Maris
watch?
was unbelievable.
Did you watch the Man City Cup game? When
Arsenal
they
were
played
better today.
the young boy?
No, but Maris was unbelievable.
Arsenal were good in the game,
Arsenal were
weren't
good,
they?
aye. Arsenal got first half were brilliant.
Who's the left-footed young player that played with City that scored in the cup?
Oh,
game?
Cole
Cole
Palmer.
Palmer.
Oh,
His chop.
he looks a player.
You
He
don't
does
play,
look
you don't
a
play for Man
Man
City.
City,
you're boy,
Man
you're not a
City,
player,
that
right?
cheat code, didn't they? Their
Aye,
squads
it's-
are
Aye,
ridiculous.
They're a different level, mate.
They two young boys, Cole Palmer, and then there was another young guy. He played on the other side, and he was just as every bit as good.
I think that was Gabriel Jesus.
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. There was two of them.
He can't get boy came on.
Goaty,
I know you're talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Sean Goater played
Right,
on
Phillips,
that.
Sean Bradley's boy
So Xander Clark deserves a move. Another one that
Aye.
deserves a big move.
deserves a move, but I feel like I've said this a few times today. It'll be a money thing because the age is Xander Clark.
Yeah.
Of course.
So there's no point in going to an Aberdeen for an extra grand a week or a couple of grand a week. You need to be going somewhere that's going to be worthwhile to move because you're not going somewhere to play.
Right, so here's what I'm asking you. You get offered an extra $2,000 a week to go and play every week at Aberdeen, or you get offered an extra $5 to go and sit on the bench for a Rangers. Who you
At
take?
Aberdeen, you're going and doing that because you're playing at Aberdeen.
I think it
But what
was-
I'm saying is, if you go to Celtic Rangers, you're going to be consigned to the
But
bench.
you just take that you're not, and you're going to get extra money.
two biggest clubs in the country. If you get that opportunity,
You look
can't do
at
that.
Xander Clark though as well. If he goes somewhere good and does well, Craig Gordon's, I know he's still unbelievable, but he's not going to be the Scotland goalie forever.
Yeah.
He's still got a chance. If he goes to a good club, you're not going to... You have to be unbelievable to play for Scotland if you're playing for St Johnstone every week.
Look at Rangers and Celtic
Marcus?
as well. Joe Hart's 36, Griggs is 40.
Yeah.
If he went there, if he did go to Rangers and he gets into the team, you're looking at being the Scotland goalie as well, you know what I mean?
But then, is he a Rangers number one?
No. No.
No. But
He's not even, I wouldn't.
What makes you a Rangers number one though? He's been brilliant for the last couple of years.
But then again, Rangers, talking about Rangers have got to, I would say, arguably very, very good goalkeepers anyway. McGregor and the boy McLaughlin. So for me, does he get ahead of...
Just like you say, McGregor is old, isn't he? It's probably his last year, eh?
But what age is, we got an idea of what age Xander Clark is? Late 20s, early 30s?
Well, we can talk about how old he looks, but I don't know how old
he looks
is.
like fucking he's Castaway in the beard and that, but I'm just thinking like Craig Gordon.
See, for me, a match would be perfect for him.
A few more years at Craig Gordon, maybe a year or so at Griggsy. They two leave, and then who's like, you're talking like Scotland goalies, he could potentially be our next national goalkeeper. So he's got to pick his move appropriate to maybe the future of that, because I think if he goes somewhere and doesn't play, that opportunity doesn't present itself to him.
Yeah, alright. Last wee bit, Derek McInnes is back. Kelly, what an appointment for Kilmarnock, mate.
Unbelievable, what appointment that.
Did not expect Dale to be leaving Aberdeen and going to Kilmarnock.
Role. Best thing Fowler's done since he took that role, director of
He's getting
football.
Dale in.
Because every decision up to then has been a fucking disaster. So he had to pull in a big name. And Derek McInnes doesn't come much bigger than Scottish football. And I think Dale will be the type of guy that could get the best out of the players, and maybe you're not asking them to do too much to put themselves in a position of opportunity to get promoted. So for me, Kilmarnock...
They win the league now.
Got to say though, I'm surprised.
That he's went there so man, mate.
And it's nothing to do with Kelly, because Kelly are a big club. Obviously, they're an SPL club, and you'll fancy them to take them straight back up. But how well he done at Aberdeen, I still stand by that. I thought he'd done an unbelievable job at Aberdeen. I thought he'd have got maybe a bigger opportunity, because it's just exactly where Kelly are just now.
That's
Kelly's point of view, unbelievable.
Yeah. That's almost like the thing about Tony Watt though. Like, he does so well for Aberdeen. 6 bad months, he gets his sack. Now he's taking a job. I'm delighted, obviously, for Kelly to get a manager in, but he's took a job out in the league below, whereas...
Strike when the iron's hot, you're saying?
No, all the time, but I mean, he nearly got the Rangers job.
Yeah.
Then his 6 bad months, and that's how quickly football changes. So, like, now I'm hoping he gets Kelly back up, because...
I've got to say, though, I hope they don't come up.
You hope they don't. They don't like that.
The beauty story of Scottish football is Arbroath, man. Oh. I would love to see them. I said, did I dare though? I'm actually just thinking that. I want to
going back there in a again.
Could they? Are they allowed to come up with a stadium? Do you not need to have a stadium?
Find a way,
I don't know, how good is that? They're top of the league.
They'll miss that.
No, they got beat the weekend, didn't they? Are they still top?
No,
still top.
They're still top.
They'll miss the boy massively. It's
Newble.
I know Newble.
Big Newble was a good player.
I watched him in the game against Kelly. I was live on.
So did I. think he terrorised them, didn't he?
But he's not just like a big boy. He's got a wee bit with the ball at his feet as well.
Yeah. Is Kelly's squad an SPL squad? I looked at it last night. No, for me,
I think they signed good players that I think they can get more out of the squad that they've got. I think McInnes will do that. I mean, like the boy for St Johnstone, I thought he was always a decent player. The guy Hendry that signed. You've still got a couple of them, and you've got Mackenzie, who's still there. Mackenzie's a very good player. He's playing the SPL. All the boys have played the SPL at some point, you know what I mean? But I definitely think there's enough there to get them back up.
Yeah.
When they go back up, obviously then you always need to strengthen when you go up to the...
Niall again, Johnny Hayes is 100% signing for Kelly, innit? Mark Reynolds.
I think Kelly, there's a great coup in Derek Ferguson, but like we were saying about Derek Ferguson leaving Aberdeen.
You can't play up front for Celtic and coach Kelly.
Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes.
Get a wing, mate. You're getting tired. Get a wing,
my point
you're getting tired.
You can't stay at a fit for too long. So Derek McInnes would have looked at that opportunity and thought, this is me to get back in. If he gets Kilmarnock promoted, that's deemed a success straight away, regardless of what he does in the Premier League next year. So, and I think Kilmarnock are run now better than they have ever been under. Is it Bowie? Billy Bowie. So for me, they've got a plan, and I think Derek McInnes fits that whole model of what they're trying to achieve.
The thing is, this season, Kelly, like the fans they're not 100% happy how this, but to have such a bad season, their eyes are still very much within rushing distance. If he can get an extra 10-20% of them, it should be enough to win the league. It's a hard league. Like there's Inverness are a good team as well. It's a hard place to go and beat, but I think Kelly have got a good enough squad that if they get McInnes gets him playing the way he wants to, they should go up. And
he's a Kelly son. He's a killer
Come on,
song.
he's a
Get the
killer.
paper
Yes,
roses.
dude,
one.
come on,
Yeah,
Duke
I
Kelly
can't
legend.
Is there many?
Paper roses.
I don't even recognise that.
Yeah, I but it's.
That sounds like Frank Sinatra. No,
Oh, good
American.
on it.
I think Derek McInnes would probably, on taking that job, he would have been. I would imagine he would have been allowed to bring in a couple of players in January on loan or something.
Yeah.
So he'll probably have a couple of guys in mind, and I think that'll help bolster the squad. Who else is up there? Inverness, can you see them maintaining?
No.
Arbroath
say
will probably have a dip at some point.
I'd say Inverness are the one team that, Arbroath, like, even for me, once Celtic go back up, it's great to see Arbroath doing that, but I don't know how good their squad is, but you just wonder if you
Can you keep it up?
get a couple of injuries, it's always the same, like, it's going to be hard for them to keep that up, but
Is there many young boys in this killer squad that have came through the academy?
nah.
I think that's always a disappointing thing
Aye.
for like fans of Kilmarnock if they think we're going to go back down to the championship.
apparently
We've got the squad we've got. Can we use it as a year to bring
Yeah.
some players
The
through
thing
the
is, Celtic,
academy?
they had one young boy who was meant to be brilliant, and Man City signed him a couple of years
Aye,
ago, Liam
number
Smith.
10.
Aye, but now I suppose they've got another boy now, a centre half, who he's played a few cup games for them, and like he's meant to be, I think he's like 15, 16, but I still speak to the boy Mackenzie a lot, and he's telling me, he's like, no, this boy, he's a proper player, but
Gilmore's brothers might be good as well, if you have
Gilmore,
it.
I'm
aye.
not saying, but I think
Come on, it's real.
Killer almost scared to fling a young boy like that in now, but
Nah,
probably,
get him.
Get him in.
it's probably as good time as any, you know what I mean, because it's easy to bleed him in, no disrespect to the Championship, a league below than it would be
Aye.
if he waited till next year, but I suppose that a couple of big teams are interested already, but you'd like to see somebody that come through at Kelly first, then maybe get his move after that.
Right, couple of quick fire questions for him, because he's fucking off back to America.
After I eat my wing.
Best play you played with?
Like it, good start. Greg Stewart, there you go.
No.
So yeah, I'd have to go Greg
Armstrong.
Stewart, aye.
So that's
No,
6 months.
Stuart Armstrong maybe with the Scotland squad, or Greg Stewart.
Best against?
I'll go Edward.
Best game you've ever played in?
Either my debut for Scotland, or the game where we beat Rangers to get third place, the last game of the season at Rugby Park, we beat them 2-1 with a
He's
penalty.
getting you
Wrong
evils when he
answer.
said. He's getting you evils when he said.
Wrong answer. Well, I'm asking another one. Best atmosphere you played in?
Best atmosphere.
Wrong answer.
People are going to think I'm talking shit because I'm trying to bum up America, but that last game when we had the playoffs and the final of the playoffs, we had a full house to play New York. That was mental.
It's up to you, New York.
Mate.
Funniest team, mate. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say
Came
who's
in.
the longest in the shower.
There you go.
Funny-
Answer that one for
Oh,
Don't give me some
Steve
American
Clark. You
dude.
said on it before you came on here.
Couldn't have been that big of a to think about it.
no, there's been.
Funny.
I tell you, MD ever played with Decky Gallagher.
Oh, mate, it's an absolute weapon.
Aye, we've heard he's.
I had a heart attack when I seen
Oh,
this. thing.
fuck.
Honestly.
I thought I didn't have one after I seen his.
No, okay.
I said you can't class that as
He
the same
was,
thing as
I
that.
remember
tripod.
he was like in his last year at Celtic under 19s or whatever, and I just went in. See that way you go in it as like 14, 15, do it one day full time.
Uh-huh.
So I'd only ever been slips in the shower, sat in the change room. This guy's got out, went in the shower.
He's
I'm
not
like-
wearing slips with that, is
No,
it?
No,
Hey,
but
fuck.
no, he's went in and I'm thinking to myself, is this what everybody's like? Am I the only one that's not like this? You know what I mean?
I was just saying, mate, first day in full time, because we were under 17s, but we shared a dressing room with under 19s and the reserves. So our captain, Steve's big Stevie Lilly, watches this, mate. You're nervous about it, aren't you?
Aye.
Oh,
First day in full
100%.
time, mate. So I sit down, mate, and he just
Trying to get a bit of blood in it
takes
first.
right off, mate, and he's swinging this thing about. And I'm like, there's no way I'm taking these off, man. I think I just sat and waited till everyone went up the road and then got a shower. That was daunting, man.
Aye.
Right, funniest.
Do you know Dom Thomas?
Uh-huh.
Dom Thomas, he'd be
Any stories about him?
a few, but I don't know if they can get said on it. No, but
Put your
just
that
now-
back pressure, don't you? It's poor.
No, just now I'm hoping the boy that he's doing it to doesn't wind him up, but he plays with a boy. There's a boy he used to play with us at Kilmarnock, never really played. Zamazadi, his name was. He's like
Right.
a young Iranian boy. So he's playing non-league in England now, but Dom's currently text him, can on it to be yogi at Dunfermline, try to get him up for a trial and stuff. He's that to him, when at Dunfermline the budget's no great, but we've got a £3,000 budget, think that's enough for him. The boy's that, I'll speak to my agent, but I think I'll be able to manage on that.
Oh, well,
Up in
shut up,
Dunfermline.
yeah,
I love the-
uh-huh.
But his prankies are genius, he said.
The phone call.
He had a boy, he was at Falkirk, the boy was at Falkirk, the boy Hazard, the goalkeeper,
Conor Hazard,
they
right?
had him on the phone, he kid on to be a Falkirk reporter. They're doing like an A to Z for him for the newspaper, and it got to the end, he's like, and when you go back in, I'm good pals with Paul Hartley. Go and tell Paul Hartley he's a fat dick for me. He'll know what I'm talking about. Boys going in, half of the proof of the guy called you a fat dick in the phone.
I've heard he is funny.
But yeah, that's a
Anything else?
good boy.
Who's the worst dressed?
Worst dressed.
Steve Clark.
I'll tell you what, you agree with, well, you might like his style after, but he's maybe not the worst dressed, but people don't like it. Have you ever played with Jackson Irvine?
Oh, he's the best dressed you've ever played, isn't
That
he?
is,
I knew he would say that.
It's quirky.
Big handsome boy, him.
Oh, what a guy. He used to be the sort of guy, he'd come in with, he'd buy like a £2 white t-shirt, feel like, it's whatever. He'd put it in the washing machine with like hundreds of different colours of dye and just make like this like tie-dye t-shirt, just come in with his own gear and all. But
Well, who was good with you at Celtic, first team wise?
like Charlie was always good. I remember one of my first days, I put this new Montclair polo shirt on, thinking like first day in, training with the first team, like I need to
Track you off.
I went up for a lunch and Charlie just had to me, he's like, yeah, do me a favour, try and touch your ceiling with that polo shirt on. I've done that, it's came all the way up to you. He's like, fuck it hell.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, but he was really good. But like a lot of them are good. Like even stupid things like people like Van Dijk. Like you think I didn't really speak to him, but Alex Bruce played with us at Kelly, and like his kids got the same schools like Virgil van Dijk's kids, like down in like Manchester, Liverpool, whatever it is, and like he was at Kilmarnock. Oh, you play with the boy Stuart. Like how's he getting on? Like something like that. You never expect some of that to remember. Like it's proper like good guys like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of them that don't.
Even
Yeah,
bother.
like some of them like that, there's like a sort of got him Johansson, they were always brand new with me.
Stefan Johansson, wasn't it?
A lot of people said that he was the opposite, but with me he was always like brand new and stuff.
Brilliant.
Most important question of all, boys. America or Scotland?
For what?
Dude.
Everyone.
To live, I'm gonna have to go USA.
Fucking get off.
You see yourself coming back here, or do you think your roots are set in?
There's a part of me, this season especially, like it's a part of me like I want to prove that I can play it there. Like I didn't. A lot of people, like you look at boys maybe go out there and come back, people might just say, oh, you couldn't hack out there, you just came back to Scotland, easy option. I would like to.
We were all saying that before you came on.
Yeah, of course. But I'd like to.
I thought you'd retired.
I'd like to show what I could do out there. Like I'd like to prove I can play out there, but at the same time, I need to play. So Philly don't think I'm going to be playing, and that's up to them. But as long as I'm there, I want to make sure I can. And then obviously, if things go well there, Megan loves it and stuff. Obviously, miss family a wee bit, but the life.
You say she gets on really well with Pelly's missus.
Aye, really good. They go samba dancing
He
together.
knows all the big spots, doesn't he?
What, have you had a Philly cheesesteak?
Aye, they're good.
Ah.
Aye.
Better than a Kelly pie?
Nah, not as better than a Kelly.
That was a
Kelly
good
pie's good,
question.
to be
Philly
fair.
cheesesteak or a Kelly pie. Yeah.
So, Kelly pie?
No, see, to be fair, a Philly cheese. See, it's one of the ones you go to like a big posh place. It's not. You need to go to one of the wee.
wee
You go to like the
shitholes.
roughest part of Philly, into just a wee guy
shitholes.
making them sell, and they're brilliant in there. You know what I mean?
Stuart Findlay.
Top man.
Well done, Stuart.
What a guy.
Boys.
Good luck, mate.